All right, welcome, welcome. We are letting everyone in. So excited to be with you all here today. Thank you especially to everyone who is here on time. You are in the right place if you are here for the Travel Cat Virtual Summit, our fifth annual virtual summit. We're going to get started right on time to honor those who actually showed up on time. But we'll be here for the next 3 hours. So welcome everyone. We are so excited to be here for our fifth annual virtual Travel Cat Summit. I know there's a lot of things you could be doing right now that is not hanging out with hundreds of cat people on the internet, but you have made the right choice. So we're very, very happy you're here. I'm Emily Mithner. I am the co-founder of Travel Cat. We are dedicated to creating products and resources to help you do more with your cat. We are very proud to be woman-owned. We're family-run. We're based in New York, which I would love to know in the chat who is turning in from where. I actually already see some Australia, which means you're up very late. We are a global company. We have customers, as I lovingly call them, in over 100 countries. Our products are carried in over 1,500 independent pet retailers all across the world. And of course, our products are also available on our site and Chewy and Amazon. But yeah, it's great to hear. Yeah, let's share where you're from. I love to hear where people are from, all different time zones. So I started the company with my husband after we rescued a kitten on a whim. This picture of me on the upper right-hand corner, that is the day we found Andy Furry and became cat people really quickly and realized that there were not a lot of companies and still aren't dedicated just to cats and cat people. So from day one, when we started Travel Cat almost 8 years ago now, we have always been and always will be feline focused as well. Yes, so please introduce yourselves in the chat. I know you all have been sharing where you're from, but we'd also, of course, love to know your cat names because it's just so wonderful to see all the different cat names we have represented. And also, if you have an Instagram, feel free to share if you have a cat Instagram or personal Instagram that you want to share and connect with other people. We have we have 30 incredible speakers here today who are all on social media sharing their journeys, and we're so happy and lucky to have them here today sharing their journeys in real time with us so we can learn even more. So why be a travel cat? So I'm always curious what brings people to these events. I mean, we have an idea, right? Usually it's one of these things. People come to us, they come to our products because they want to do more with their cats. They want to provide their cats safe enrichment. And they want to explore the outdoors, again, safely. A lot of people also find our products because they have to travel with their cats. Maybe they're moving. The coolest thing I've seen in terms of necessary travel was somebody flying with 8 Travel Cat Odyssey carriers at the airport. They were moving with their 8 cats. Each one had their own Travel Cat carrier. So sometimes you just have to take your cat on a plane or in a car, and you want to know how to do that in a way that is as least stressful as possible. And a lot of people find us and want to learn more about doing more and getting their cats used to a harness or a backpack in case of emergencies. You know, unfortunately, a lot of us live in an area where there could be an emergency, whether that's a natural disaster or, of course, just being prepared in the case of a fire. I mean, I know we have people in our community that have used our backpacks to help them safely escape a fire in their apartment building. And, you know, we have a session on emergency preparedness with some vets today. But for whatever reason you're here, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to get not just inspiration, but a lot of practical tips about how you can get your cat used to doing more with you. So whether that's just small goals like taking your cat out in the backyard or big cross-country travel goals, you will find tips here from people who have done it all. So you're going to get a lot of tips throughout, including a lot of safety tips, but I always want to start with some very, very basic safety tips, no matter what you plan to do with your cat. These are things that you should always, always consider doing first before you do any adventuring outside, big or small. So One would be getting your cat microchipped, right? So that is done at a vet and means if your cat gets lost and somebody brings your cat into a vet, they'll be able to identify who the owner is. Of course, the next best thing to that is having a pet ID tag, having a collar with your name and your contact information. Another thing to consider is a GPS or some sort of location device. We love our partner Tractive. They're one of the top GPS collar and device out there, and we actually have a harness that fits specifically the Tractive device in a little pocket on the back of the harness. GPS are great, especially if you're going to be doing more outdoor adventures where you might not be in proximity of, say, Apple devices, but Apple AirTags are also great, not just for finding your cat if you let your cat outside or go outside with your cat, but they're great for figuring out where your cat is inside your house. So we actually recently, one of our new products is an AirTag holder collar, and I have them on both my cats because sometimes they hide in new spots where I do not know where they are. So those are helpful as well. And then, of course, talking to your vet about vaccines, flea and tick medication before going out. And again, we have a panel here today with vets who will talk more about that. But these are just very basic, no matter, again, big or small adventures, do these things. And on the other side of my slide is just the most important thing, which is when you are doing more with your cat, no matter how experienced or inexperienced you are, make sure that you are present when you're with your cat. That you're really paying attention to them, you're paying attention to their body language, because that's really the most important thing of making sure that they're having a good experience, you're having a good experience, you're not distracted, you're not on your phone, but that you can really be with them in the moment. All right. And I see a lot of Instagrams being shared, which is great. Okay. All right, so some of you also might be here for the prizes, which is totally okay. So we are really proud to have donated thousands and thousands of dollars to what we like to call Forever Home Heroes. So small grassroots organizations that do TNR, trap, neuter, return, fostering, rescue programs in their communities. And so every year we find new and fun ways to give money to small rescues around the world doing these things. So today, just by attending and being here, you're going to have chances to win a lot of different prizes. We're giving out over $2,000 just from TravelCat in gift cards and donations to Forever Home Heroes. And then we also have some amazing partners that are giving out some prize packs as well. And in addition to doing our donations to Forever Home Heroes, another thing TravelCat is always doing and looking for is opportunities to donate products when there are natural disasters. So we've donated, after the fires in Hawaii or in California or the floods in Asheville, North Carolina. So, that's a big part of our mission is doing what we can to help people who are helping cats. So we're going to go ahead and pick our first grand prize winner right off the bat, because why not? That sounds like a good idea, right? Would someone like to win a prize right now? So the very first prize we're going to give out before we even get into the meat of things, this person is going to win a $250 TravelCat gift card and a $250 donation in their name to a Forever Home Hero. And as I mentioned, we have about 30 amazing speakers. And we also have some awesome partners. And our speakers got a special tote bag that you may have seen online. This is a picture of some. So our speakers got this really epic tote bag filled with goodies. And I don't really have time to show all of them. But we have some extra. So this first winner is also going to win a speaker tote bag filled with a bunch of stuff. So drum roll, please. We are going to pick a random person. Give me a second. And we're going to log down the names of the people we pick throughout the event. So don't worry, we'll find you and make sure you get your prize claimed. All right, our first winner is Sar Gerhard. Sar Gerhard, you're here in the chat now. you are our first winner. So if my team could just log that down, actually, let me just screenshot the name, Sar Gerhard. Congrats to you. We are going to be giving out 3 more of these grand prizes of a $250 gift card from us and a $250 donation throughout the event. And then, like I said, so there's 3 more of those and prizes from our partners. So the longer you stay on line today, the more likely you are to win a prize. We also are going to be, oh, I skipped that really quick. If you are on social media, we are going to pick somebody by end of day tomorrow who uses hashtag TravelCatSummit in an Instagram post or TikTok post to win a $50 gift card. So you can also win that way by tagging us and sharing your favorite moments from today. And then also every time we do an event, so this is our 5th event, we always come up with a new tote bag design, which you can get for free with an order. So this is our tote bag from this year. It says, currently thinking about my cat. And you have your speaker alumni here, and our speakers helped us determine what phrase would be on the bag. So we have a attendee tote bag. This is something fun we do just to make the event feel more real and less virtual. But so this attendee tote bag also has goodies from our partners in it, discounts from our partners, treats, all different types of fun goodies, treats, toys, stuff from Travel Cat as well. So there's a bunch of goodies in here. So you guys as attendees have access to that. And then another fun part of coming to our summits is we always unveil new products for the first time ever at our event. So I just want to have my team member spotlight Andrea now as well, if we can find Andrea and spotlight her, because she has some products that I don't. But these are some products we released this year, but also on this slide are products that we've actually never shown before, and you are the very first person who, or people who are seeing these products. So yes, I have this one too. So this is our new Roam With Me backpack. If you happen to have our strawberry shortcake backpack or see that one, it is a similar style, but different color. We're calling this our Terracotta Sky. And we know a lot of you love to put your username on your backpack. So we made a little pouch so you can write in your cat's username or name there. So this is one of our newest backpacks, which is available now. And then Andrea, you have our Explorer backpack, right? If you want to show that one. So this is our new Explorer backpack in Sunset Pink. It's just a perfect little everyday backpack, holds up to 15 pounds of cat. And I am very, very obsessed with the colorway personally. So the opening, that open rolls down and there she goes, she's modeling it. Also, by the way, that's Andrea, she's Team Travel Cat, and her cat is basically our model who you see everywhere. So I don't know if we'll get to see Luna today, but that's where Luna lives. And the new product, this is available for, so Explorer and Roam With Me are available for order now, and we have a special discount for you guys. This one, our walking bag, is on pre-order. We're super excited about this. This is a cat walking bag because dog, so Andrea's modeling the pink, I have the blue. Oh, there's Luna. So dogs shouldn't have all the fun with, you know, cute little walking bags. So this has a poop bag holder. It's really nice. Got really nice pockets on the inside. We have a fun little hidden thing here. It says do more with your cat on the inside. How cute is that? And the thing that's really special and unique about this walking bag is this really easy to open front pouch that is wipeable and waterproof. So you could put your meat tubes in there and not worry about them getting all yucky and gross, or just any treats, and easily get to them. And it's also just a really cute fanny pack for you as a human. So very excited about this one. I use it all the time. I have a toddler, so I use this as my like little park walking bag as well. So this one is on pre-order. And so as mentioned, for these events, we always do a perk of giving you a special discount and giving you a sneak peek of these new products. And so nobody else has access to this discount or on these particular products. We are giving a 10% off code, which once my slide advances, here it is. So you can get 10% off with the code Summit26 on these products. And if you haven't seen this link yet, we've emailed it and chatted it many times with travelcatshop.com/program. that is where you're going to see the breakout links for the breakout sessions today. That's where you see the perks, the codes, our partners and their codes, the free tote bag, all that stuff is on that program page. So definitely bookmark that one. That's got all the info you need. There's 250 new messages for me to look at. Okay, great. Oh, and also, yes, please share a picture of your cat in the chat because that is like a new-ish feature of Zoom. You can share pictures in the Zoom chat now. So if you want to share a picture of your cat doing stuff, please do. And sorry, there's a little slight delay with my slides here. All right. Here we go. So anyway, here's just a little up close of these products. Very excited. And then before we get into the meat of things, if we could give a virtual round of applause to our partners. Our partners also help to make our summits and events just more fun by donating prizes and goodies to our tote bag. And also, I just want to emphasize that this tote bag filled with the goodies that you can get with your order of over $40, they are limited. So we only made 100 this year. So if you want this, if you're thinking about it, once they're gone, they're gone. So we usually sell out like right after the event. So if you're thinking about it, think hard and fast. But thank you for our partners. To our partners, they are fantastic. These are also companies that are dedicated to creating really great products for cats, just like we do. So again, if you could support them, follow them online, tag them, check out their products. A special shout out to Tractive Yao and Inaba because they have partnered with us on every single summit since the very first one. And we always like to have some new folks as well. So check all these guys out. And again, information about their products is on our program page also. So we also just have a very good sale going on our site right now. We have our summer blowout sale, which is up to 20% off the entire site. So with that, what can you expect today? So we have just gotten through the intro. We are going to have a bunch of sessions here today. So the next two sessions are going to be here in the main room. This is where they will take place. So you're in the right spot. You don't have to go anywhere. And then we have 2 time slots where you have options. You'll be able to choose from 3 different sessions. You can either stay here or we have 2 different breakout rooms, which we'll continue to chat the links here to those breakout rooms. You also got an email with the link to those breakout rooms. So just make sure you're in the right room when we transition. And then we're going to come back here at the end of the event. We're going to do a DIY cat enrichment craft together, and then we'll give out some prizes again at the end. So that is what to expect today. And oh yes, and for the DIY craft, these are some of the supplies. We emailed them out, but basically like go through your recycling bin really quick during the event if you can. Basically you need a box, string, tape, and some things that can dangle. All right, so this is the list, and this is also on the program page. All right, so really quick, before we go to Melissa, we're gonna take down the slides. My team is gonna take down the slides really quick, and we're gonna just take some group pictures. So if you don't wanna be in the picture, if we could take the slides, okay, right, great. Okay, if you don't wanna be in the picture, you can go off camera if you want to grab your cat really quick, but we like to just take a bunch of screenshots of the audience because it's fun, and we're going to do that before we dive into the content. So go grab your cat if you can, and let's see, I'm going to remove my spotlight, and if my team can just start taking screenshots, we call these zoomies. So we're going to just awkwardly smile for the next minute. Just kind of keep smiling awkwardly, and we're going to do our best to get as many people smiling. It's okay if your cat's not there also, so don't worry about that, but just keep awkwardly smiling. We're going to just keep taking some screenshots. There's like a bunch of different slides of you, so keep smiling. You know what I've never asked during this event? I've never asked like how many cats do people have? Like who here thinks they have the most cats in their house right now? I'm just curious. Like I'd love to know in the chat who thinks they have the most cats in their house. Like is anybody fostering a bunch of kittens right now? I'd love to see in the chat let's see what people are saying. Who has the most cats? And where are you tuning in from? How many cats? How many cats? Let's see. Go to my 8. Okay, so we have somebody with 8. Does anyone have more than 8? Because I saw 7, 8, 4. I have, but oh, okay, I've got. Oh, let's see. Scott is fostering 35. I have a feeling that that might be the most. Is anyone have more than 35 cats in their house? All right, so wow, that's amazing. Thank you, Scott, for your service. That's incredible. All right. I think we got a good amount of screenshots, so we're gonna dive right in. All right, so let's bring up Melissa on stage, our first speaker, and make sure that she is a co-host so we can have her unmuted. Let's see, bring up Melissa. Let's see, and let's see, I can actually help bring up Melissa too. Spotlight for everyone. All right, there she is. She is spotlight. Okay, everyone, please give a big round of applause to Melissa. She is a animal trainer, and her cats. We're gonna focus on the cats today. I know you do dogs too, of course, but her cat specifically, Tonic the actor cat, which I discovered because I really liked the movie Caught Stealing, and that's when I discovered Tonic myself and started following her and all of the work she's done with animals. So we can take down the slides now, and we'll kick it off. And please ask questions during this event. You can ask questions in the Q&A box. I'm going to do my best to look in there, and we'll save some time for Q&A at the end, as we will for all of our sessions. So Melissa, welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm excited to be able to chat with you in person, because a lot of these questions are also just my personal questions. So if you want to start by just giving a quick intro on yourself and Tonic, how you first got started with animal training professionally.
Sure. Yeah. I started with a dog that was young and needed training, and I had a knack for it right away. That was in 1998, and I stuck with it, enjoyed it, ended up opening a school, and then to promote my school, I opened a live show. Didn't think it was going to go anywhere. Got an agent on the first day. We're like, wow, we can perform for people and show off our animals. And then I wanted to show them something that they might have never seen, and I got a cat to train to perform in the show. And from sashimi, I was discovered into film. So I say that my cat bought my house.
Oh, that's amazing. So your cat was really the breadwinner there, not the dog.
So she could restaurants, yeah.
Love to hear it. All right, so people are obviously very amazed when they hear about cats on set, and so Tonic is most known for his work in Pet Sematary and Caught Stealing. Caught Stealing had Austin Butler in it, and that's the movie that I saw with him in it, and he's in it a lot. Like, it's not just like a little bit part. Like, he's in it a lot. But so I'd love to know, like, what type of foundational training did Tonic get, to prepare him to be in not just any film, but a film where he was really, featured a good amount.
Yeah, I mean, when I adopted Tonic, it was specifically for Pet Sematary. They had a very specific visual. So I had 2 months to train Tonic to be ready on set at Pet Sematary. So he got 2 months of round the clock foundational training. And then after Pet Sematary, he did Eli Roth's Thanksgiving, which is another horror. So I'm like, okay. And he almost got a role in the Chucky series, but they canceled it last minute, as they do. And I thought, wow, I've got a horror icon. But for Caught Stealing, because we went from the movie industry and so much training to the live show, it gave a lot of foundation for Caught Stealing, because the animal's a main character, and he performed in New York City with Bad Bunny and Austin Butler. So there was paparazzi, there was honking, there was fans, the chaos of New York. It was amazing. And it was something that he was so comfortable with, because he was used to, live performances and all the loud noises and chaos that goes with that. But yeah, there's a lot of foundation training, confidence, hitting a mark, stay, eye line behaviors, and then they give us a script to break down in advance, and they give me 2 months to train those behaviors to prepare him.
Okay. And so for some of those, for someone who wants to think about maybe not getting their cat into movies, but doing some of those basic things like you mentioned, like, sitting or hitting a certain mark, or, we see high fiving a lot, right? Is that something you do with clicker training, or what does that usually look like?
Yeah, I use clicker training and I use progressive steps. The difference for me with cats and dogs is that I do a lot of foundation with cats. Like, for example, I would teach a cat how to follow a lure. And I might do that with a dog, but I wouldn't do that as much with a cat because when you try to train a cat, they're more likely to just sit there and be like, put it in my mouth. I'm not working that hard. So, we do luring. So we put the treat in his mouth and we reward him in little baby steps for following it. We do mark training, and then this mark right here is a foundation for training, and then I can put it on my lap and the cat can jump onto my lap. So yeah, but did I veer off because I can do that? Did I
No, you're good.
or am I taking us? I get excited.
No, you're good. We can let it flow. You're good. So that mark, when you say mark, that's like a physical object that they're used to going to, and then whenever you bring that wherever it goes, like they recognize it.
Oh yeah, like if I put it down right now, Tonic's gonna hit it.
Oh,
He knows that that's where he gets paid.
oh, okay. That's so interesting. I haven't seen that before because we have done sessions before and like clicker training, that sort of thing. But yeah, that okay. And so what does it look like to get them to go to that mark? Like what's the lead up to that?
I do a lot of choice where I put a very large mark in front of them, and then when they hit it, I'm like, hey, yeah, that's a place where you get paid. And then I encourage them to stop, and I'm like, you get nothing. And he's like, yo, I'm staying where I get paid. So then I
Okay.
reinforcing, and then I release. And he's like, oh yeah, I like the treats coming. So then you can increase the duration. So this is contrast, pay here, no pay here. And the cat's like, well, I'm gonna stay on the mark. And then you can build up to it. Then I have to toss treats to get them off it sometimes. But then up to it, and you can have them going from one mark to the next. But as long as the mark's there, they think that's where I'm gonna get paid. And then you can go from there to putting the mark on your body, and that's how we teach tricks. Ready? So then you have like a little bit of a cheat.
Hmm.
And just so everybody knows what this is his actor. So I thought
Yeah.
it's not
No,
like a crazy person
the
that
travel cat gear.
we practice our scenes with his actor. So don't judge me, people. It gets weird around here.
That's great. And somebody asked I think this is a good question. Can anything be a mark?
Yeah, if you don't have what I have, you would use a hardcover book.
Oh, just a book. Okay.
Yeah, you can make it, but the ones that I have are non-slip on the bottom, non-slip on the top, and thick enough to hold them so it's not going to bend. So you could take a hardcover book and wrap it.
Oh, okay, great, great. Right. Okay, so that makes sense. So somebody said like, oh, a hula hoop or something, but the idea is you can move it if they're actually on it. So that's important.
Yes, but I do have soft marks as well, so that I can fade it if I want to.
Okay, nice. So, we have a lot of people here who are just maybe thinking about doing more with their cat, and they might think, oh, their cat is too shy or show no signs that they are trainable. Like, what would you say are some small things from a professional trainer perspective that you think are good sort of starting points to just try to get your cat to do?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of choice and a lot of patience is a really big one. So I have my clicker here. And one of the things that I would do is to start with luring. So what we would do with Tonic is just take a treat, put it in his mouth, and reward him for following it. So like you can see, has a lot of lure training. If your cat just sits there and doesn't follow the lure too much, that's normal. So you want to treat in the mouth, pull it forward an inch, and these are about as far as you're going to reinforce. as just little baby steps. So that's one thing that you can do. And then imagine what happens from there. Now we're spinning and we're following. Come around, sweetheart. We're following the lure. Oh, he always does this one. He's like, why are you changing? Yeah, but now we're spinning and we have a cat that can follow a lure, and that's our foundation for. Oh, look, we have a little helper. Hi, what's he? Oh, I'm gonna go in my backpack. Um, so then you have a foundation for teaching the tricks because cats are a little less energetic, I've found.
Than dogs. Yeah. Okay, great. And some people are asking about treats. I would say we have some great partners who sell different types of treats. It's great to experiment with different formats of treats, different flavors. So actually our partners for the summit, we have Inaba, they make the meat tubes. We have Salty Cat, they have freeze-dried treats, which are, the hard ones. We have Icelandic. Icelandic has straight up like full fish, So it's. Did you have that experience with Tonic of like having or other cats where you have to kind of go through different types of treats to figure out like what's the most motivating for them?
Yeah, we call that a preference assessment, where we show the animal all the traits because each animal is an individual, and we show them various traits. Now, all Chiru is always the top, so I try to have different layers of reinforcers so that I use the higher levels when I get the harder things.
Right. Great. Yeah, no, it's good to know like what's the most motivating. And that's a big thing that we talk about with harness and backpack training as well. A lot of people might experience they put the harness on and the cat just flops over and doesn't want to move. But if you know, like ahead of time, what treat is most likely to get them to move or feeding them while they're, putting the harness on before they're about to eat, when they're hungry, they're going to be motivated to like eat the food and, move. Um, you talked about, especially for say, caught chasing and those days where you're doing like the press events for that movie, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of sounds and lights and that sort of thing. Two questions off of that. What have you done to get the animals like used to, that kind of commotion in a safe way? And also, what are the things you look for to know when they're done? Like this is enough. Like I have to remove them and give them some peace and quiet.
Yeah, the big thing that I do is that the animal is in charge, and I always give control and autonomy to Tonic, and I am an advocate for him. So, for example, I don't take him out without a backpack. The backpack is a conversation as well. It's to transport him when we're going to the set or walking around, but it's also a way for him to tell me that he's done. So and like with Tonic, he's never done because he's had so much training. But with one of my younger kittens, I have to work very hard to get him to that environment, and I do that with progressive steps. But I always have the backpack sitting there so that they can make the choice to get in the backpack if they feel overwhelmed. And then if they don't come out of the backpack, that's their way of asking me, this environment is too much. And then I find the environment that is right for the cat. And that we call that data in the animal training world. If he's in the backpack, that's data. That's telling me the environment is too much. And I want my environments to be progressive, and I want him to feel safe, to have control, to come out. That's one of the ways that I do it, is I think, what is an environment that's right for him? Let me set him up for success and make it really awesome, and then build from there. And so the backpack is a big conversation piece for that. Another thing that I do when I take them out is I also speak for them. So I don't know if you all saw Tonic on my lap with the cuddling. He likes to be cuddled, but when we work on a set, he's not a petting zoo. And you can actually search out a conversation with the director where they talked about what it was like working with Tonic, and that was one of the things he said. He said we weren't allowed to pet him. And it was like, yeah, if you take your cat out and it's always things that they don't like are happening, then they can associate that with the environment really easily. So if your cat is very affectionate, then you could say, well, you can encourage them to come over and pet them if they do, so they're always in charge. But if it's overwhelming, then you would advocate. So you're always trying to make it a positive experience and work on their success.
That's great.
Yeah.
Uh,
One more
so
piece I
so
add too is I never carry him around like he's a prop. He's allowed to make the decision to come and go. So with the animal always being in control, that's the biggest secret that we have.
that's great. Um, what would you say? Okay, so we have a few more minutes left, and I'm also looking at the chat for questions now. So if anybody has questions that I have not answered, because I have done some already that I saw on the chat, please put them in the chat so I can get those to Melissa as well. But I'm going to do a few quick lightning questions, quick fun ones. What is the most impressive thing, in your opinion, that you've trained a cat to do?
Sit pretty on my head.
Oh, nice. Okay, great. And let's see, which actor who you've worked with that you're allowed to say, I guess, was best with one of your cats? Like, who was the
Austin
best cat
Butler.
person? Oh, Austin Butler.
If you've ever heard people say that he is very kind as a human, he's very kind as a human. And he was
Okay.
very caring, and he called off a shot when a cat meowed and looked uncomfortable. He said, "Oh, we're done. Come over here." He's sad, and they were always happy. I appreciate him fully.
Oh, that's great. We need more reasons. We needed more reasons to like Austin
You
Butler,
did,
right?
yeah, exactly.
And what would you say is a misconception that people have about training cats to do things in any range of things, not just, say being on a film?
Mhm. I think it's always that cats are untrainable. I mean, because with dogs, I think the misconception is that you have to be in charge. I think all animals do better when they're a partner, not a puppet. But I think with people know that with cats. So I would say that they're untrainable. They do love to work. They really do.
Mhm. Oh, and then somebody off of this said, are all cats trainable? I'm curious if you've had an experience with any cat or dog, maybe, but cat specifically, uh, that just you weren't able to get them to the level you needed to in terms of training for some sort of movie or event.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely various levels. They're like all cats are engaged to a certain level, so some can take longer and some can take slower. But when we do, Tonic has had like 11 doubles because he's always has doubles for the movies. So we find cats that look like Tonic, we train them all, and then the strongest ones do the work, and the other ones find homes. But they were all trainable, but they weren't all as trained. Like they didn't enjoy it as much. So there was various levels. But yeah, you can do something with all of them. You have to figure out what they like. Don't go in the direction if they don't like it. Scrap it if they don't like it and go in the direction of what they like, and that's how you get an engaging cat.
Wow. So wait, and that was 11 doubles he had. So it's tonic plus 11 doubles, 11 cat doubles. Was that the?
Can you live in my area? Hit me up. Yeah, because
Oh,
they'll be a chance one day.
okay. Oh, wow, that's great. Okay. And would you recommend if somebody wanted to start with training, clicker training over the mark training or lure training, like which, if you had to say in general, you've worked with so many cats, the one that most cats respond best to is this.
Yeah, I would say clicker training, but the clicker training doesn't actually need to be a clicker if your cat is nervous of it. You could use a marker. And I've heard Emily Laurelham is a fantastic trainer. I've heard her say that clicker training should be renamed progressive reinforcement training because it's all about breaking things down into different steps so that the animal is set up for success. And that can include like using, I call them marks, people call them stations or platforms. That can include that as well. And I like all of that together, but clicker training and allowing the cat to think it's their idea.
Have you ever, okay, I'm going to try to get through a few more questions quickly. Have you ever trained a cat without food or treats?
I have not, but I know like we do
Okay.
use environmental rewards for things. So
Okay. And what tips for training do you feel like translate well to just say reducing anxiety for a vet visit? Like how are those things kind of connected and be
uh,
helpful?
I would do it the same, like reducing for a vet visit. I would do it the same as I put on a harness or anything. So that mark that I train for, I actually have a different looking mark that's because I don't want to poison or make negative associations with my training mark. But I have a different looking mark that I put down and the cats choose to get on. And then I do movie things like I put a bandage on in caught stealing, or his leather jacket on for when he went to the premiere, or harness training. And if the cat wants to say no, they can step off the platform. So the secret is control and autonomy. I always come back to it. This is us on caught stealing. Give them the C, FFP, like give the animal control and feed for position. But if they have a way to say no, if they're allowed to say no, they're more likely to say yes. So,
Mm,
and if anybody wants to research that, it's called cooperative care.
great. And one other quick question from the audience. What are your tips for recovering from a bad experience? So, you don't have to name a specific one unless you want to, but I'm assuming with all your experiences, like something bad had happened, like maybe they got scared, something fell, some loud noise happened. Like, what are your tips for recovering from when something doesn't go well so that they can get over that negative association?
Well, that's a great question. I'm going to say take a couple days and like people think get right back on the horse, but sometimes your animal is adrenalized and that can stay in their system for a couple days. So what happens is we stop going to the level that we think that they can handle normally, and we dial back and we would go, let's say I'm socializing my cat and I take them to a place and something on wheels goes by, because I think people might have noticed things on wheels, things over their head, sudden appearances of humans, and things they can't quite make out and see. If those are your experience, add that into the chat or other things. But if something scary happened, then I'm going to say to myself, I better make sure the next 2 or 3 outings are fantastic and ones that
Mm,
I know you're going to really have a good time. So I'm
right.
not going to try to do the same thing again. I'm going to understand that there's stress in the system and that we're more resistant to triggers.
Amazing. No, I love that. Yeah, no, that's great, right? You want to have like home runs for the next few. Well, thank you so much to Melissa. Can we get a huge round of applause? And Melissa, well, Tonic, and maybe you have multiple accounts for different animals, but Tonic is on Instagram, so give Melissa a follow and her cat's Tonic. Thank you so much for being here with us, and this that we're really glad it worked out. We love seeing the little tour of your studio there. A lot of great practical tips, so thank you so much. Round of applause, everyone. Thank you to Melissa. All right, we're going to bring up our next speakers. So, our next panel is all about the basics of doing more with your cat. So, as we bring up our speakers for that, I'm going to give a little intro. For this first opening session, I always like to get a wide variety of people who are doing all different types of outings with their cat. So, we have a really diverse group here today, people who have done really epic outdoor adventures to urban adventures to training their cats to do interesting things, as well to a gajillion airplane rides as well. So we're going to get started in 1 second. Let's see. I know we have one more speaker to bring up. Let me just do that. All right, we're just waiting for one more. All right, we got everyone. All right, so welcome, welcome. All right, so you guys should all be able to unmute. So actually, let me just do that for you. So, and please, everyone, if you haven't noticed, all of our speakers today, they have the word host in their username, and they also have included their username. Please give our speakers a follow, because that we pretty much recruit all of our speakers from Instagram or social media, because they're already not just inspiring us, but giving a lot of practical tips as well. So these folks are obviously all giving their time here today, sharing their tips and advice. So that means they want to connect with you. So give them all a follow on social media if you're not already. So quick intro from everyone. Please share your names, your cat's names, where you're based, and as a fun way to start, one of your most memorable outings with your cat. And I'm going to start with Jax and Jerome.
Hi everyone. So
Hi.
my name is Jerome,
My name is Jacques.
and we're the Pussycat Dads behind Lupin in London. We're just the adventure cat family. We got a cat, I think, 2 years ago, Lupin.
Yeah.
And to our surprise, we managed to train him to go on little outdoor adventures with us, mostly just going to the cafe and things like that. And it just kind of expanded into more and more fun and adventures. Is there anything else we need to say?
Oh,
Oh, can't hear you.
Why don't you share one of your most memorable outings? That's my bonus question for the
Ah,
intro.
I think for me, just our first cafe trip. It was very early on into our training process, and I think the fact that we just made it and we weren't even planning to get that far, I think it just set the tone for like the rest of our lives with our cats. So yeah, that's a memorable one for me, I think.
Yeah, I think the first time we ever took Lupin out, we never expected the reactions from people because so many people had never seen a cat outside on a lead, especially in the middle of London. And so we just were very, very surprised at how much joy he was bringing, not just to us, but everybody that would come along. And yeah, it was just beautiful outing. So I would say I would agree with you,
Yeah,
I
they're all
think.
special in their own way, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, and also like we also took Lupin outside of London, so we took him to Scotland and our other cat Raja as well, who we have successfully leash trained as well. And we're doing a lot of little trips with them outside of the city as well, which is really nice
Yeah.
because then we can go into nature with them
We
and
did Paris recently as well. So yeah, it's been great.
very nice. All right, Taylor, how about you?
Hi, I'm Taylor. I'm currently based in Utah, and then my cats are Summit and Cave. They were my little foster kittens that I ended up foster failing and adopting. And I think the most memorable outing, I feel like there's a lot, but most recently I just found a new trail that's like 10 minutes from my apartment, and it's so pretty. There's like mountains, but the cats love it because it's kind of like sandy. It's like I don't know what the like texture. It's just like a dirt sand and the second we get out there, immediately start rolling. Like my cat Cave is black and he completely turns gray, like turns into a different color. He loves it so much. And so it was so fun to like take them out there and they got to like watch lizards and everything. So just really enriching for them. So we've been going to that trail almost once a week now. They love it.
Nice. I want to give a shout out to one of our partners is Earth Bath and their little wipes. It just made me think of good product to have in case you're bringing your cats
Yeah.
where they're taking a dust bath.
Mhm.
Robert, how about you?
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having us. I'm Robert Dulwit with Catman 2. This is Didja, short for Didgeridoo. And I'm going to have to agree with the London boys there. The most memorable time was the first time. Like we clearly go everywhere. That's what we do for our channels, but that was the most memorable, and especially I couldn't believe the variation of people that would come up and see us. It wasn't one type. It wasn't all women. It wasn't all children. It was everybody. And the one I remember the most is this big, tall, muscle tattooed guy with in a singlet came up and he's like, "Can I pet your cat?" And I thought this was a prank, but no, he was just so happy to pet the cat and talk to the cat. So that was definitely, and I went home to my friend. I'm like, you would not believe like how much attention you get. It's just off the charts.
That's great. And Marina.
Hi, Emily. Hi, everyone. So I'm Marina. I'm Peach's mom. He's actually napping now. We had a we had a long day yesterday adventuring. So I live in Toronto, and we started off actually hiking. That was our first adventure when he was just a kitten, and it's evolved to a lot since then. If I had to pick a favorite moment, there's so many in the last 4 years of Pichu, but I'd say what stood out the most is I'm a huge hockey fan. So Pichu loves to watch hockey with me. That's the only thing he watches on TV. It's hockey. So he's become a fan and he's picked his favorite player. And I shout his name at every game. And he actually met his favorite player and he got his jersey signed. As I took him downtown last year when the Leafs were in the playoffs at the arena, and it was loud and there were so many people. And Pichu was incredible. He was just standing there, and all of a sudden there was all these news, channels coming up to him to interview him, and it was pretty funny because he would just sit there all proud and say, of course he's not saying anything, and they interviewed him, and it was so funny. So that was my favorite moment. I do solo travel with Pichu, so it's just a one-man show here, I'd say, just us.
Very cool. All right. So, Jackson Jerome, you talked about your first outing being just, going to a cafe. Can you talk a little bit about how you've incorporated your cats just into your everyday routines? Not necessarily just, say doing a big trip to Paris, but sort of those like everyday, more simple moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to start?
Yeah, I think in general, like I think one of the beautiful things about Oh,
We're blurred, I
our
think.
camera
Oh, no,
keeps
it's okay.
disconnecting. Are we back?
You're good. You're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, so I think for us, we live in the flat, so being able to take them out for walks is really important for us because we wouldn't be able to give them that outdoor enrichment anyway. And I think in our day to day, like it's really nice to be able to just take them along to a cafe with us if we're going, because that would be like a really good way to just get them outside and get them some enrichment. We like to pick nice, really scenic walks where they can see birds and various other things as well. If we're going away, we're able to bring them with us, which is really nice as well. And it's just so nice to just have them out and about with us all the time. So
Yeah, I feel like for us, it was never really an option to let them free roam. So for me, it was always about safety as well, because I felt like we live quite in a small space in London, relatively small for, I guess, what a lot of people would think. So it was like really nice to be able to take them outside, on little trips with us. And we thought really small at first. We never thought big. Like, if you told me at the start we would go to Paris with them, I would have probably never believed it because it was just very, very small steps. Initially, we just started on our streets, on our back street, really small, tiny street where there's literally nobody. And we just took our time. Like it took a few weeks before we could even start, we decided to go up the street and start going further. So,
I think the
yeah.
way I would describe it is like just incorporating a kind of family relationship with them. They're like our kids. And, if we go somewhere where it's appropriate for cats, it feels like we're bringing our kids along. So I would say, like, I would compare our lifestyle with them to that, I would say. So,
Great. And Taylor, you mentioned you're in Utah, beautiful. You do tons of outdoor adventures. For people who are maybe have the goal of doing more of the sort of hiking, outdoor trips, what would be your beginner tips for those folks?
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of things. I mean, the first thing probably is like, obviously, if you've never taken your cat outside, start with harness, leash, and backpack training. Those are huge for getting them because, like, the worst thing you want to do is take your cat outside and they get scared and bolt. So, you want to make sure they're comfortable in their harness and walking on a leash. So, I started with that in my apartment. And then also a backpack. I bring my backpack with me everywhere just because I don't know, there could be other dogs or something could scare them. So I like to have the backpack as like safety so I can always put them in that and they feel that's like their happy place. They sleep in it here during the day. They just love theirs. So I start with training and working on that. And then the next thing is kind of like choosing somewhere where they feel comfortable. That's like a beginner. So like I started just taking my cats. I mean, that started honestly indoors. I would take them out on my balcony and then just like let them get used to hearing sounds outside and then started taking them just outside around my apartment. We'd go outside and there's like little grassy areas, just take them out there, let them get used to it. Don't do anything like super stressful. And then you can kind of build up for there. Like you can take them to a local park or take them kind of walking around the neighborhood and kind of build up to working towards trails. And then with the trails, that's one thing I get asked a lot is like, what do you do if you see other dogs? Or like, what if they're super busy? I make it a point to pick trails that I know are going to be quieter. They're not like the most popular one near me. Pick a quiet trail and then also go at a time that's going to be slower, like early in the morning, later in the afternoon. I actually love taking my cats out at night, not usually on trails, that's more around the apartment, but just when it's going to be quiet and there's less things that might be scary or loud or stressful to them. So just picking really quiet trails. And then also keeping it like short and positive. Like if they're not having a good time, that's our sign we go back inside. We don't force it, you don't do anything like that, but just make it positive and happy, bring lots of treats, make it fun for them. And then also just like let them sniff. Like this should be like a really fun, enriching like outing for them. Let them sniff everything, check everything out, and it's going to be slow. Cats go at their own pace. And so just like let them take their time and enjoy it because that's kind of how they build up the confidence outside is like just enjoying it and like not making it stressful. Like you're not working on like hiking with them immediately, like they have to walk with you. Like that's a long process working through that. So just making it fun and quick and positive, I think would be some of the main things just for getting started with them.
Great. And Robert, so you are an animal, professional animal trainer as well, like Melissa, right? You've done dogs. You started with dogs also, right? Before your cats. So, from a training perspective, what would you say are some of the, simple behavior, the enrichment activities, confidence building, that you think people should start with at home if they want to ultimately do more with their cat outside of their home? Oh, you're muted. Oh, let me unmute you. Hold on. There
Sorry
you go.
about that. Yeah, everybody had some great suggestions. That's you just have to treat it like you have a new kitten and what you would do with that, just baby steps, right? I like to say with cats versus dogs, it's micro baby steps. But yeah, just anything to build their confidence, getting them used to their cat backpack or a pet carrier or a car or their basket if you want to eventually take them out on their bicycle. So it's all done, in and around the house where they're most comfortable. And so you're able to take this travel home with you and there's their secure place. So they always have a place to go back to. That's really important. And that's a great place to start.
And you had
You're
Emily.
Thank you. How many flights have you done, Marina? Remind me the number. I want
It's over a dozen.
over a dozen flights.
Over a
Okay.
dozen.
So, that would definitely fall in, well, not necessary travel, but necessary if you need to travel to certain places. Lots going on at the airport. How was that first trip compared to say the 12th? But what are your tips for, getting your cat up to the point where they are going to be in, busier environments with a lot of potential chaos?
So I think that flying with a cat probably is more of the advanced stages of adventuring because you'd have to get them used to, of course, socialize the aspect of it, getting used to sights and sounds and people and noise. And of course, the one key thing that my vet told me with flying with Pichu the first time, I was so nervous. Do I have to medicate him? Like, is he going to be okay on the flight? I said, I'm going to try a domestic flight, which is going to be, and I live in Canada. A domestic flight is still 4 hours away. He said, no, if Pichu's good in the car, he'll be fine flying. And it's true. Pichu is great because we've done road trips before, a year before. He did awesome. His first flight was amazing. And what I say to people is that pets are like us, right? And they feed off of your energy. And if you're nervous and anxious and scared, they're going to feel that. So I never want him to feel that. So whatever we're flying or we're doing adventure, I always keep positive. And I said, Boogie, you're going on vacation. And he gets so excited because, I'm pumped and I'm excited too, right? So he always feels excited. So the first time, of course, I was a little bit nervous. I didn't want to show that, but it went smoothly. The thing is, I didn't know how to pack. I knew what to pack for Pichu, but not how to pack it. So I want to give a quick example. So the first time we traveled, I had his travel cat bag on my shoulder, 13-pound cat, and I got a bag with litter box, litter, food, everything you can think of. So the airport's massive. I'm walking through, my shoulders start to hurt, and I'm like, oh my God, how do I get used to this? I said, okay, there's got to be a better way. So the first time I actually packed his backpack in my luggage, so I said, this is not going to happen again. So the second time I used his backpack as to carry him around the airport, and I've got his travel bag in my hand with his travel litter box, which folds up really nicely. This is the one I use. About a pound of litter. I got a couple cans of food for him. The food is not to feed him on flight. Just keep that in mind. The food is there just in case our luggage get lost because Peaches is a super picky cat. So I want to make sure he's got at least a couple cans for the first day until I can source food, if in case that happens, right? So this is his travel bag that I use, and I absolutely love it. It's been on every single flight with us. Another tip is the tray here. On probably the 10th flight, he had an accident. He didn't before. It was to Zurich, and it was a long flight. We had a very rough landing. P-pad. So just in case that happens, you're just sitting in that, you can lift this off, and he's nice and dry. So that's one of the tips that I can tell you is that, knowing how to pack is really important so you're not exhausted because something you have to get used to as well, right? But other than that, he's fine. I was thinking, oh my God, he's going to be so uncomfortable. But after doing so many flights, I'm like, I'm the one who's uncomfortable. My legs are killing me because I got your carrier on top of me. My shoulders are hurting me. My back is hurting me. And you're comfy and you're sleeping, you're napping, you're getting your treats. So they're fine. So if you want to fly your cat, do it. It's awesome. It's a great experience.
Yeah, my husband and I, and who is my co-founder, so we are a family-owned business. So our longest excursion with our two cats at the same time was a 3-week road trip So we went to a bunch of different states, different hotels, and I think when you're doing a bigger trip like a flight or a road trip, that sort of thing, definitely flexibility is key, and just knowing probably something is not going to go according to plan is key. We definitely, and maybe it was probably a good stat. We only made one extra stop than planned during that trip, but it was an extra stop. It was an extra hotel night, but we just knew, hey, this chunk of the drive was too long for them. It ended up being too long. So having that like flexible mindset. So like you said, the cats aren't picking up on your stress. I really like that tip a lot. So Jackson Jerome, you mentioned the leash walking. I know you do a lot of strolling as well. And like you mentioned, you are in a more urban environment. So what is it that you feel like your cats like about the, going in the stroller as opposed to say like a backpack or a harness? Like when is that your preference for travel?
I feel like we use a little bit of the stroller and the bag combined. And because we have two cats, we have Lupin and Raja. They're not the same weight at all. So like, we used to be able to take Raja in the backpack a lot more and he would sit a little bit on the shoulder and things like that. But I think like as he's grown, because he's a Bengal and he's become more on the heavy side, compared to Lupin, I think even just for us, it's been a lot more practical to be able to use the stroller and to get him used to that. And also, what I find great in the stroller is it really allows for longer trips because, well, first of all, both cats fit in if they are comfortable with that, and then also underneath the stroller, there's space for storage. So, like, we're able to carry a portable litter tray with us, and it's a lot easier for longer trip because then you can be out and about for longer, and then sort of like, I just find it a lot more practical. What do you think?
Yeah, agreed. I think it's just so practical when we're going for a longer stay and we want to bring the little tray with us and we want to carry all of our bits all in one place. I think it also gives them a lot more space as well. I guess like most backpacks, like the size can be a bit more limited than a stroller. So being able to have like a slightly bigger basket where you can put them in and stuff, I think it's quite comfortable for them. They can have a little nap, they can still see everything. And I think for maybe like people who are taking a cat out for the first time, it might even be a more comfortable experience for them because the movement of the backpack isn't so distracting maybe for your cat as well. So I think there's a lot of advantages to maybe going for the stroller route for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like similarly to what we said earlier about, leaving the backpack around the house and like open so that your cat gets used to, I feel like it's also advisable to have a similar process with the carrier, sorry. So
The
like
stroller.
have it open stroller, yeah. So have positive association with the stroller and everything, which is what we've done. So and it's worked quite successfully, I would say.
Great.
So yeah.
And Taylor, so I know you've done a lot of, you talked about intro basic stuff, but you seems like you've done a lot of more epic adventuring as well. What were some signs that you saw from your cats that you sort of knew, like, all right, they're ready to progress. I feel like I can take them to sort of the next level on a longer hike or a longer trip. Like, what was the sort of trigger that you're like, all right, I feel ready because they feel ready.
I think the biggest thing, my cats, they'll tell me if they want to do something. Like last night, I've started taking one of my cats, Cave, out like nightly walks every night. And my other cat, Summit, hasn't really shown interest. But the past like couple nights this week, he's like waiting at the door when I get back with Cave and he'll kind of follow me around. I'm like, okay, he wants to come. So they'll kind of tell you, like, I'll take them out on hikes and with them being in there, like, I'll have a backpack with me, but they'll walk some and they get tired, put them in the backpack, but they'll meow, like they'll let me know when they want to get down and keep going. So you can kind of just like gauge it based off of how they're responding. Like if they're tired, they might lay down or just sit down. So they make it pretty clear of like, okay, they want to break, they're done with this. But usually like they pretty much want to go the whole time. Like they do not want to just be sitting in the backpack. They want to be out walking. Backpack is mostly for naps when they get really tired. But I think So both of my cats were pretty different as far as like training from the beginning. So my cat Summit has just always been very confident with people and pets. Like he loves dogs. He'll just walk up to a dog, rub into them, like loves them. But my other cat Cave, it was a much slower process, and I'm still working with him on like being comfortable outside around like other people. So when we're passing people on our trail, he'll still like lay down, like he doesn't want to go interact with them, or like we have to like wait, let people pass. So it's kind of a process with like just like building up the confidence. So with him, we're kind of still sticking to like shorter trails because and ones that are a lot less busy because it does take a while because anytime somebody passes us, he's gonna lay down and wait till they completely go. So it's a lot slower. So it's kind of different for different cats. With him, we had to do a much slower process of getting used to like going outside too. I started with my dog. I would take Cave out when I would take my dog to go potty first thing in the morning and at night. So I would just carry him outside with me so he got used to it because he was a little bit more scared of like loud noises. We'd go when it's really quiet first thing in the morning and at night and just building up from there. And then he started like screaming at the door every day because he wants to go outside that was like his walk time. So they'll kind of just give you signs that they're ready to go and they want to keep doing more. And you can just tell by kind of like their body language if they're happy or not. Like if the tail up, they're super happy, they're having a good time. But if their ears are down, kind of like airplane mode, they're maybe stressed or scared, anxious. So just kind of reading their body language. And I mean, mine are fairly vocal, so they'll let me know. But
Nice. Nice. Well, and Robert, similar question for you. So, right, from a training perspective, what are other ways you can sort of know the difference between, okay, I want to, I'm trying to challenge a cat, expose them to something, do that progression, but knowing, when to take a break versus when to keep going, that kind of thing.
Well, there's not to sound repetitive, but pretty much everything Taylor said. But uh, I think that because I use food as the primary reinforcer, that's pretty much the window. So once she's not showing signs of being hungry or interested, then I won't introduce her to a new spot or go to that next level. So I always wait till she's hungry to then subject her to something a little bit more advanced because I need her to pair those potentially scary things with food to become a positive experience to then go to the next level. But I always start many times with the least problematic place. I seek out the places where I know there's not going to be a lot of dogs or people. This is the first thing I do since we're talking to people that may not have the same experience that some of us have with the cats. So I always seek out the places where it's quiet and no dogs and no people, and I test the cat from there, and then we basically that's the starting point, and then we go from there. But it's all about the food or a toy. You can have a bird or some type of feather toy, and pair that place with a toy and a positive experience.
That's great. Yeah, and I think like a lot of us here have two cats or multiple animals. For us, for instance, as well, just like getting to know how our cats would react once they landed in a new place. So, for instance, like my two cats are sort of opposite. Like one is really, really the one that's good in the car is super nervous when we bring her to a new place, and the one that's not great in the car like meows a lot and tries to get out. They're not good in the car, but better in new places. But it's sort of it's good to really kind of track those behaviors to know what to expect, so then you can kind of set up the environment as well. So for anybody who is planning to go to say a hotel with their cat, one of my biggest tips from our experiences blocking off what we like to call the unders before you get in. So, I traveled with my husband. So basically, I would go in, set up the room, look for spots where the cats could hide or get to that we would not be able to find them or grab them easily, block with pillows, call down, can I have some extra pillows, move furniture, and just, spread out. Scent things that had their scent on it, like blankets and beds and stuff like that, so that we knew the one cat that would go wild and go exploring couldn't get into any place that they shouldn't, and then the other cat we know would just want to like chill in their carrier. We have a spot for that set up as well. All right, so Marina, what are some things that you've mentioned the flights, but you've also done a lot of other adventures. Like I saw the other day, you brought him to a cat cafe, right? Is that correct? So you've done a lot of different types of adventures. What are some things that you've built into your routine, whether that's like a flight or just going out for a walk in your neighborhood, that has helped your cat become like more comfortable over time, and sort of make it like a predictable, okay, this is going to be a good experience because these are some things that I always do.
Pichu understands words, so he's not treat motivated, which was challenging in the beginning because all he understood was trail, the word trail. We're going to trail, and he got excited. He knows it's time to go out because he's seeing birds and the squirrels. So it's the enrichment for him, right? So once we've moved away from trails only and started doing, like, he goes to the office with me. He goes, even if I go to get bird seeds, for the birds in the backyard, he will go with me. So he does pet stores, the cat cafe, like he does. Pichu is sort of like the ride along with me to anywhere that I go. So he's familiar with a lot of things. Sometimes he may not know where we're going. So I try to get him familiarized with words like a trail, or let's get food for the birdies, or let's go to the pet store, you're gonna get some treats, so he understands those things, right? When we're out and about, some of the signs I look for, like the cat cafe that I went to yesterday, which was my first time doing that. Pichu is okay with other cats. I wouldn't say he likes other cats. He's okay with them. The lounge area for the cats were completely separate. There were about 22 cats. So we were in the cafe area. And after a while, I could tell that he was not comfortable just by the look in his eyes, trying to go for his backpack. And he hissed at someone. And Pichu does not do that. So the minute he hissed, I was like, okay, we're out of there. He was uncomfortable at that point. So if he hisses, which he's only done 3 times in the 4 years of adventuring at someone, and I know, okay, you're uncomfortable. Time for us to go now. If Pichu loves the camera. He is a poser. A camera comes out and he's the biggest model for anyone. It doesn't matter. But if he looks at me and he gives me a little meow, I know he's not comfortable. It's time for us to go. So it's these little signals I look for in him. And the backpack is amazing because he's so independent. Pichu would be an outdoor cat if I allowed it, because he loves to go out. He loves to walk on his own. He loves to go into the store, walking into the store instead of his backpack. So the minute he wants to go to his backpack, I know he's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So I want to do some lightning round questions. I'll ask all of you and can give like a quick answer for some of these. And then I have been looking at questions in the chat. But if anybody has questions, please put them in the chat now, and I'm going to look over there and see if we can get through some of those as well. Okay, so first lightning round question. What is a mistake that you feel like you've made with taking your cat out, and how have you corrected that? And Jackson, Jerome, I'm going to hit you with that one first because you're off mute.
I think for me personally, not understanding like when it's time to say no to somebody. I think at the start, so many people would like approach us and it would be quite overwhelming for us. And I think at the start I was like very inviting towards people, but then like I would mentally find it hard to be like, actually, no, like I feel like he's not feeling this. This isn't okay. And I very early on learned I had to advocate for him and be like, no, like he wants to rest now and stuff. And it taught me to do things like I'll keep the backpack a little bit open so that he can go in and out as and when he needs to. So I learned to just read his behavior a lot quicker. So yeah, just saying like no to people and just like enforcing those boundaries.
I would agree. Like setting boundaries is really important because probably you guys all know that and have been through that, but when you're in public with your cat, I think it's still quite a new phenomenon. I mean, for us in London, it's not really mainstream at all. So like it will provoke a reaction for a lot of people. And sometimes it's really hard to get from A to B, to be honest. And that's okay. But I feel like there's people out there who would not necessarily know how to pet a cat, or sometimes they might smell of their cat as well. And, our cat might not necessarily like that, so it's important to have boundaries and say no, I would say. Yeah.
All right, Robert, how about you? Quick mistake, and how have you corrected that?
Okay, well, first, um, that's hard for me because as a professional, I really am already anticipating most problems, but I do understand there's some unpredictable situations that come up, and I have to agree with the London boys again. Sometimes you have a little pressure from, or at least I do from a film crew or someone who wants to document or take some film of her or a story, and I've probably said yes to some people that and then they take charge because they have a cat at home or whatever. So I do take charge, obviously, but that would probably be the only thing that I allowed. Uh, I took a few jobs that maybe I shouldn't have taken, and then I felt sorry for her after, and then that's why I've actually stopped doing that because of I just don't think it's fair to her anymore because she's put in her time, and so now she's living the life, a lap cat. But yeah, no, it's really hard to predict things that happen. Women would, or kids would have things and they'd go to pet the cat and it would fall off their shoulder, the purse would fall off their shoulder, or the kid would drop the boogie board or whatever, or some item. And so you can't help that. But to rectify it, I would just use a clicker because a clicker doesn't only teach tricks, it can uh, change you can use it for behavior modification and you can re-establish things that were scary or things that fell or women's purses or kids, and I can then through time and patience and working on that specific thing, once I see the problem, once there was a problem, then I go back and I'll do everything I can, however long it takes, to get have Dija like that kid again or like the kid carrying things again, and not be afraid of things falling on her. So that's her putting her trust in me, but I'm using the clicker to reestablish, a relationship with everything around them. So that's when a mistake happens, that's what I do.
Great. All right, Taylor, how about you?
think I feel like there's like a bunch of like little things, but I feel like one thing for me is maybe not knowing my own limits because I previously had Summit and recently got Cave last year, adopted him, and I would take Summit out in his backpack, but I have a backpack for each of them. So I had been a little ambitious before with hikes and tried to do some, not realizing that I'm going to be carrying one backpack in the front, one in the back, and it's about 15 pounds per backpack with them sitting in it. So realizing if I'm bringing both cats, I've got to do shorter hikes. I can't pick something longer because they're not going to go the whole way and they're going to want to take a break and it gets a little overwhelming. So that's more of a me thing versus the cats,
Yeah.
but kind of knowing your
No,
own limits, I think is one
yeah.
thing.
No, that's great. I think that's super important. It's not just about the cat, it's you and the cat.
Yeah.
And Marina, how about you?
So apart from boundaries, let's talk about dogs. Uh, so when we are out adventuring, we come across a lot of dogs. Uh, Pichu is not friendly with dogs at all. He's not scared of them at all. And sometimes people will always say, "My dog's friendly. He wants to say hi to your cat." That's fine. Maybe my cat doesn't want to say hi. We had one experience where the dog owner wanted to take a picture of her dog with Pichu. And the dog close to Pichu, and all of a sudden there's like whack, 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 whack. There's like so many whacks. It just happened so fast. Pichu just started whacking this dog, and I felt so bad because the dog was so sweet, and was crying, ran to his owner. So I always say to people now, Pichu is not friendly with dogs, because I've had to buy apology treats for dogs already a few times. So yeah, I would hate for a dog to get hurt by Pichu. So with the dogs, I always have to say, Pichu is not very friendly with dogs.
Got it. No, that's great. It's better to be safe, right? Better
Yes.
to avoid that. All right. So one quick, truly like 1 to 2 line answer for this closer. What have you found? How would you describe the benefit that you've seen in just in your cat's life of doing more with them? Like how has doing more with your cat, benefited them and their enrichment, that sort of thing. And Marina, I'll just bounce back to you.
This cat's living the best life possible. A cat travels all over the world, all over the country, and seeing so many different things. I'm just trying to give him the best of his 9 lives possible, and I can see how happy he is, and it makes me happy.
That's great. Jackson, Jerome?
Yeah, I feel like for us, it's also the cat's needs. Like, for instance, Raja, he's a Bengal cat and he's very, very hyper at home and he needs a lot of he needs to release his energy. And playing with him at home, I would say, would have never been sufficient enough from what I can see. And when we take him out, he can really let his steam out. He loves going to the park. And then when we come home, he tends to sleep a lot more, which is nice for everyone as well. He'll be needy in a nice way, but he's not going to be destructive and we've got a lot of indoor enrichment as well. I think that's really important too. But I think that really helps channel his energy. And yeah. I don't know.
Just overall, just bond enhancing. Like it's just been such a great way for us to connect with them, for them to build trust in us and for us to build trust in them. So
great. Robert, how about you?
Yeah, because I agree again with the London voice. That's actually perfect. It's her personality. She's so outgoing, and because she's not an outdoor cat, I made the mistake with the first cat I had many, many, many years ago, and it got run over by a car, thinking they had to roam to be happy, and that's not true. So now, in replacement to that, I take her out, and she gets to experience and see the sights and get out and about. And then when she comes home, she can, uh, so we give her a fulfilling life. And I think that's really helped her personality. And to be honest, now that we don't do it very much, she is way more, wants way more attention from me. And when I pet her, you just can just tell. So I should probably take her out a little bit more because she just craves that extra attention. And I think that's helped her.
Great. And Taylor, how about you?
I think for me, it's just seeing how happy they are outside. Like my cats are pretty chill inside and they're not super cuddly, but like the second we go outside, both my cats are like rubbing into my legs, tail up, like they're just so happy out there. And so I don't know, it's just
Yeah.
really fun to see that. And like they're so thankful and it's really cute. Like my cat Cave will just like turn around and come rub into my legs and like meow at me because he's just so happy anytime I take him out on a walk. So I think just like adding to their happiness, like they absolutely love it. So
amazing. Well, thank you. Can we give a big round of applause, digital round of applause for our speakers for this session? Thank you so much. And my team, if you could bring up the slides, we're going to just go through our transition now of what to expect for the rest of the event. And we have some prizes to give out as well. So let's see. All right, we'll bring up the slides. All right, here we are. Okay. Thank you to Melissa. Let's see, let me just go through here. All right, so check in the chat. You will see that we have shared the links to our next session. And, oh, okay. All right, so we have some prizes. Did I skip through one of these? Let's see. Okay, first prize. This is from one of our partners, Yao, Catnip. We love them. They have been a partner for so long. They're going to send a banana, which is their classic, like bestseller. Everyone loves it. And they have a new giant kicker as well. So the winner of that is Chad Byers. Chad Byers, you are our Yao winner. I'm going to screenshot your name so we can make sure to find you later. Congratulations. All right. And then we have a prize pack from Salty Cat. And I just want to bring that slide up. I think my slides are a little frozen. I don't know, my team member, Onse, if you can help show that Salty Cat slide. All right, there it is. Okay, so Salty Cat, we're going to be giving away this giant prize pack from Salty Cat in our Backpack and Harness Training 101 session. So with that, let me go to the View Details Here page. If we can go to that page next. So right now for our sessions, okay, right now for our session, you have choices, okay? So there are 3 choices. You can stay here, and we're going to have a session that's focused on outside adventuring. So it's called Trail Tales and Forest Tales, Outdoor Adventuring Stories and Tips. So if you want to learn more about taking your cat outside, stay here. If you're interested more in everyday travel, road trips, strolling outside in your neighborhood, or flights, but not so much outside hiking, that's going to be in Zoom Room 1. And then Zoom Room Breakout 2 is going to be basics, like a 101 training. If you just want to sort of teacher style, seminar style, we have a great webinar style 101 session that will be led by Gingy and Luna, and have one of our team members in there who will also be doing some product demos if you have questions about our products as well. They'll be like showing off our various products. So and Zoom Room 2, the Back to the Basics, that's where we're going to be giving away the Salty Cat prize. So again, if you go to, and actually, could we just go back to the slide before this that has the link to these sessions? Yeah, so this is where you can see the details for the breakout. So travelcatshop.com/program. That is where you can find the links to these 2 other Zooms if you want to go to one of the breakouts. So now would be the time to do that. If my team members could just share those links directly in the chat again as well, that would be great. So again, you have choices. There's a couple of different options here. So now would be the time to join the other 2 breakouts if you are interested in that. So we have our main room, which is stay here, and then we have our Zoom breakout 1 or 2, and we'll just give another minute for people to join that. And if we could just, let's see, share these links again as well. Let me help with that. All right, so here is the program link. All right, and then we have Zoom 1. And the breakout rooms, you don't have to sign in to Zoom again. It'll just open you right up to that new room. I know it's tough to choose between the topics. They're all going to be good. The good thing is you cannot make a bad choice. There are no bad choices in this event. All right, and so for my team members who are here, if we could bring up our speakers and start spotlighting our speakers for our main room session, Trail Tales and Forest Tales, that would be great. And so while people are, yes, and we are recording all the sessions. So all the sessions are recorded, but it does take us a while to make them live. So as long as you stay on our email list, you will get access to the recordings as soon as we have them. All right, and let me help bring up our speakers for this session. All right, we got Caitlin. And we got Kitty Elmer, great. We're waiting for one more, let's see. All right. I think we got everyone. All right, so if my team member can just make sure we give them the ability, make them co-hosts so they can unmute themselves, and we can also remove the slides. Okay. And I'm going to unspotlight myself. And Caitlin, I'm going to kick it off to you.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I wasn't able to unmute myself, but now I am. Hi, everyone. My name is Caitlin, and I have the social media, a cat named Peak, where I have 2 adventure cats, Peak and Summit, and we are seasonal between Florida and Maine. So our cats get to do a very vast terrain options that they get to hike and explore. And I'm going to be moderating today. So let's go ahead and start with having everyone introduce themselves. Can we start with Fleur from Kitty Umbra? If you could just introduce yourself, tell us where you're based and the kinds of adventures that you and your cat does.
Definitely. So I am from Kitty Umbra. My cat Umbra is a small. Oh, can you see me all right?
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. My cat is a little rescue from Romania, but now we live in Italy, and together we explore the Alps and we go hiking mostly around the lakes. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but in the north of Italy, it's full of beautiful lakes, and that's where we basically spend most of our time together.
That sounds like so much fun. Thank you. Can we have Connie from Little Bean Firm Tofu?
Yeah, you got that right. Nice to meet you, everyone. My name is Connie, and I have two orange cats called Bean and Tofu. They're also rescues from Alberta. So we're out in Vancouver, BC, so lots of nice trails, and I've brought them on a couple of backpacking trips, camping trips, and also just out and about on our local trails as well.
Nice. Thank you. And now can we have Freya from Freya Adventure Awaits?
Hi, I'm Freya, and my cat is called Lola, and she is a rescue Bengal. Um, and we are based in the Lake District in England. So we hike a lot in the Lake District, but also a lot in Scotland. And she does travel with us. So she's been to Cornwall, down to West Sussex. So we do quite a lot of UK travel with her.
Nice. And next, can we have Sayaka from Freya Siberian?
Hi everyone, I'm Sayaka. Excited to join today. We are based in Vancouver, BC, Canada. Um, we always no, we started adventuring local in the city, and then we expanded within Canada. And 2 years ago, we went to Costa Rica with Freya, and then recently came back from Japan. I'm Japanese, by the way, so I have home over there. So we just came back 3 days ago, and Freya and I are super jet lagged, but also, I mean, we're all excited to be here. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. I didn't realize we had so many people from all over the world in this session. That's really cool. Last year it wasn't this vast, so that's really exciting. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into some questions. My first question is for Fleur Kitty Ambra. Um, Ambra went from being a skittish adult rescue cat to an adventure cat. What were the first small wins you celebrated before getting into hikes and bigger adventures?
All right, so Umbra is definitely super anxious, especially when it comes to men. So the biggest win for us was that she stopped being afraid of my boyfriend. Her now cat dad, of course. It's been about 3 years, and it took us about half a year for her to be completely okay with him. So you can say it's a slow process. And from there on, we introduced her to more people, which helped her be more relaxed when we went outside. Of course, we still choose to go for the mountains, hikes in the mountains, because she's so scared of people, specifically men. But the biggest win for us, therefore, was that she was less afraid of at least one man. Small step for in general, but for us, it was a really big step.
That's awesome. What are the signs that you look for that, like, how do you know when she's stressed?
Umbra makes it very clear. She will either stop moving completely, just freeze, or she has that pre-run posture. I don't know if you're familiar, but the moment before she runs away, she makes a specific position with her body. And that's the moment I know, okay, this is enough. I need to grab her, put her in her safe space in the backpack or the stroller. And we call it a day for that. That's for her the clearest sign. If she's uncomfortable, she will just be very still. She's a very energetic, very open, sweet kitty. So if she's uncomfortable, she will be the opposite of that. She will not want any cuddles, nothing. And that's the biggest sign for us.
Okay. Perfect. My next question's for Connie Littlebean from Tofu. What have your cats taught you about pacing and adapting adventures to your cat's comfort level?
Yeah, I think the main thing that they taught me is probably just to do things in small increments. So I do have two cats, and both of them are comfortable outside at different levels. So, for example, Bean is just a very nonchalant, chill dude, and he's okay with strangers, okay with kids, noises. Whereas Tofu, he's a little bit more skittish if there's like a louder noise or just a stranger walking from very far as well. So I think um, taking baby steps for both of them, really learning what they're both comfortable with, and also just gaining confidence for themselves by taking them out one on one, really paying attention to Tofu if he needs more attention, or Bean if he needs more attention, and just going at their own pace as well. I think that's the main thing that they've taught me. And also, another thing is any day outside that they have had a positive experience is a good day. It could literally just be like stepping out your front door and they're just standing there for 30 minutes watching the birds. I think just that's a good day, and that's a good training day. Good for them stimulation wise, like and it's whatever your cat is comfortable with.
Do you hike with both of them at the same time, or do you find it better for you to hike with them on their own, like individually?
Yeah, that's a good question. And when I first started taking them out, I was like, there's no way I can bring both of them. And I still think that as well, just because, like, as I explained, Tofu is more shy and he likes to revert back into the bag when he's uncomfortable. So I've only actually brought Bean out backpacking. He's pretty chill in the bag. Like, I'll take my big backpacking bag and have him in the front. Um, he's like a good 13, 14 pounds. So like it's a good workout for myself too. But I only really take Bean on kind of like bigger trips, and then Tofu and Bean together just outside in the yard here because that's what Tofu's comfortable with.
Yeah, it's very difficult to hike with two cats if anyone is trying to train two adventure cats. My biggest tip, at least from my experience, has been keeping one in the backpack while the other one walks, and then switch them when the other when they want to take turns, because walking cats is not like walking dogs. They don't want to go in the same direction. So it's
They definitely
um,
have a mind of their own.
yeah, and then I have my cat, one of my cats is a Maine Coon, so he's 20 pounds, and then my other cat is a rescue, but he's 17 pounds. And someone earlier in the chat was asking what backpack we use for a larger cat, and we have found the Travel Cat Navigator to be the most comfortable as far as padding and support when you have a cat. Now, if you're doing like you were saying, if you're backpacking, that's going to give you the most support. But as far as cat carriers, I just wanted to throw that out there in case whoever was interested in that topic, they knew which backpack that we like to use. Okay, so my next question's for Freya. Freya, adventure awaits. You share a lot of peaceful, scenic outdoor adventures. How do you create outdoor experiences that feel enriching and low stress for your cat?
I try and pick areas that I know aren't really touristy in the Lake District. So there's certain places and certain mountains that I will either do in the winter, midweek. Lola loves hiking in the snow. And so when it's popular, busy time, I will go to the quieter spots, or I'll try and go midweek if I can, and just go to areas where I just know there's not going to be many people, because Lola likes people, but she'll still like lie down if someone's approaching. So if they talk to us, then she's like, oh, I like this person. But if there's lots of people around and there's lots of dogs, because the Lake District is really dog friendly, so there's loads of dogs everywhere. And I personally don't want the stress of being too many dogs. Lola doesn't like dogs; she growls at them. So I just try and pick places that are a bit quieter, or I know, oh, there's not going to be many people there. And she loves it. She especially loves like woodland walks, and she adores Scotland. I don't know what it is, but every time we go to Scotland, she has the time of her life. There must be different smell there, but it's always her favorite walks. And we've always come across so far really fantastic people, and dog owners have been brilliant as well. But what I tend to do is I just pick her up and then she sits on the top. We use the Navigator backpack as well. It's the best hiking backpack for a cat. I could not find a better one because I can carry my stuff and her stuff. So if there's a dog, I just sit her up there or put her in the backpack and no one knows. The dogs don't have a clue. So it's just quiet spots and just reading her body language and seeing what she likes best.
Yeah. I know like me, I'm originally from Florida and we just started becoming seasonal between Florida and Maine, which is very drastic, like opposite ends of the US. Do you have any tips for people who may want to adventure with their cat like in cold weather or snow? Do you take any like clothing or precautions to like keep your cat warm?
Yeah, so we have a jumper, which is an extra small dog jumper because I can't find a cat one. So she does have a jumper, and we try and monitor her. So we took her for a walk, and she absolutely loved the snow. And we kept thinking, is her toe like her beans getting too cold? But she tells us when she wants to walk. So if we pick her up and try and put her in a bag, she's like, no, no, no. So we knew she wasn't cold because she was absolutely loving it. It's probably one of her favorite hikes we've done has been in the snow. And then we always have like blankets, and she has a jumper on if she needs it. And then in her backpack, there's loads of blankets to keep her warm. But actually, at the moment, but also we don't get that much snow. I wish we got more, but the Lake District this year hasn't had much snow at all. So the snow we got was in Scotland.
Okay.
But yeah, she seems to love it.
Nice.
But yeah,
Um,
lots of blankets, knitwear, and then like you can get those heated pads
mhm.
for pets that have got like is it like tinfoil or something inside, and that warms them up a little bit as well.
Yeah, there's a few brands out there that sell warming pads that we keep in our crates in the car. And then in the past, like when it's really cold, because we live in a barn, when we're in Maine, so we don't have insulation or heat, so we use those a lot. I also have like heated pads that are electric heating pads that I'll keep sometimes in their carriers to keep them warm. So if anyone is exploring that, maybe camping in cold weather with their cats, that's some interesting tips. And then you could also put, I don't know if you've seen people who camp, they'll put hot boiling water in like a Nalgene cup and they'll put that in their sleeping bag. And then like they'll sleep in the sleeping bag with their cat to keep them warm that way too. Okay, so my next question is for Sayaka, Freya Siberian. So Freya has explored a wide variety of environments. How do you help your cat stay confident and adaptable when introducing new outdoor experiences?
Yes. So Freya, well, she started as a kitten when we started the adventure training. So first was just a doorstep, and we also live in front of a busy road actually. So I think that naturally kind of helped her with city noise already while she lives in our apartment. But also like we made sure to have a short exposure at the beginning. So like just do 5 minutes and then check in with her and then come back. And then just repeat that process and made it like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, and then 1 hour, and then 2 hours, and then slowly expanding the area where she can explore. But also at the same time, we train her with the cars. So like I know a lot of cats are super afraid of cars because of the engine noise, the smell is different, and it's just completely different place. So they just get freaked out. But we try to make sure starting from the at the parking lot, like we're not going anywhere, turn on the engine, get used to the sound of the car, and then once we knew that she was really comfortable and happy with the car rides and she kind of associated herself with a car is like, oh, I can actually go somewhere further. And then that made her really happy. So then we did the first ferry ride from Vancouver to Victoria. It's in the Vancouver Islands, and it's about 1 to 2 hours ferry ride. So we took a car and then get on the a ferry with our backpack. But back in that time, unfortunately, no pets allowed on the above deck. So we kind of had to stay near the parking inside the ferry where it's so loud with the engine, and we knew that she wouldn't enjoy. So we tried to stay in the car with her. And But later on, they made a pet deck. So we tried for the second time, and it's less noisy up there, but we were being warned that you can hear the when they make the sound. So we've been told that like make sure that your dog and cats don't freak out. So we did our best, and she was actually fine. And like I think the key is the short exposure and repeating and not forcing them. If they feel really scared, or like if they start feeling like frozen, and even though they look not too bad, but make sure you touch their body because you can feel how tense they are. So if you feel that, then maybe it's a good idea to go back home, or leave that site and go where the cat feels like more safe, more comfortable and confident. So we just took our entire 4 years now and then made it to like going on a airplane. And then we started from a very short trip from Vancouver to Calgary, which is like under 1 hour, but still it's a big step for a cat to get on the airplane, just like adventure cat Pichu's mom was saying that, right? So it's a big step. And then we extended to longer flight, which is like from going from West Coast to the East Coast. And then we did the shorter trip to Costa Rica for international flight. And then recently I took my cat to Japan. So I feel like once your cat is comfortable with certain environment, like from car is good, then maybe like I for our case, we kind of knew that Freya might be good with other transits. Like we also take bus and trains on daily basis too, and she always come with us on those public transits. So more exposure with shorter time. I think that really helps with getting used to different kinds of environments. And same for hiking too, like start with a quiet, small space, or maybe less dogs for sure, and less touristy if you're living in very popular areas. I think that will help with many cats who wants to start at the beginning.
It's amazing how much travel you've done with your cat. I mean, I've flown a few times with my cats and we've done long road trips, but to like fly across the country or to a different country, like that's one of my goals for sure. And I'm sure that's definitely a goal of other people here that are watching today. I did have a question for you that I'm sure other people might be thinking. And I know there's some questions in the chat, which I'll get to. But if you're in a situation where your cat is scared, like you're on the ferry and you can't leave that situation, do you have any tips to help calm your cat, to make them a little bit more comfortable?
Yeah, so for example, especially if you are traveling for the first time and you just don't know what's going to happen, make sure you get gabapentin from your vet. It's a calming medication. It's very common medication for pets to visit vet clinics or getting into a little bit of stressful situation because you're moving to somewhere else. So you can give those like few hours in advance and make sure that you don't overfeed them. Otherwise, they might feel seasick getting on the ferry. So we always do that. We don't overfeed her. And we never use gabapentin, but we always carry the capsule or the gel formula. You can just ingest into your cat's mouth directly. And also the Feliway. I don't know if anyone knows this brand. You can also buy this from your veterinarian clinic. It's a pheromone spray that you can spray inside your backpack. You can spray that into your car if you're coming by car. But sometimes we don't even use car. We just walk into the ferry too. So make sure you have the Feliway spray with you to keep them calm. And sometimes Thunder Shirt could help, like if they feel more snugged, or if you want to use more like a vest style of harness. I'm sure Travel Cat offers that kind of product. So try to have the snugged ones if your cat feels better with that kind of gear. And make sure you keep like petting them and then give them like a really sweet words and then try to calm them down. If you have a car getting on the ferry, try to stay inside the car like we did to just shut the noise and keep away everything else and make sure you're always staying with the cat. So yeah, that's the tip I guess I can give.
Those are some great tips. We have given gabapentin to our cats in the past once before, but we found that as they've become more comfortable adventuring, they don't need it, which is what's great about adventuring with your cat. You're shortening their reaction time to being scared, and they're gaining confidence. And that's what we always preach as to why it's so good for your cat. There was a question in the chat that I wanted to speak on just because I have a lot of experience with cats overheating. Someone asked, they have a long-haired cat that where they live in hot weather. And so something that I've done in the past is I'll spray the harness down with cold water. If I'm hiking, I'll just spray my water on it, or I'll dunk it in a river or something and put it right back on the cat. If your cat is comfortable getting wet, you can spray your whole cat down. Because Peak, my long-haired Maine Coon, has overheated. So I wanted to make sure I spoke about that because it's super important to make sure your cat doesn't overheat, or if they're really still overheating after that, seek shade and just kind of relax there. Let's see, I think there was another question somewhere. There, oh yes, so there are a bunch of national parks that do allow cats. Acadia, where we live nearby, is a national park that accepts cats. And a fun fact I learned about national parks, so there are some trails that aren't pet friendly, but I talked to a park ranger and they said as long as your cat is in your backpack, you can take them on non-pet friendly trails, which I think is really cool. It's because they just don't want the pet like damaging the trail or the environment and stuff. And then let's see, I feel like there's probably another one in here. Okay, we talked about the heating. Oh, okay. So let's just do a quick lightning round. Does anyone have any tips for like getting your cat used to loud noises? I know my tip is we use this thing called the happy hoodie when we give baths to our cats because they like to roll in really stinky stuff, and it's basically like a neck gaiter that you put over their ears and it's kind of like earmuffs. Do any of you have any tips for getting your cats used to loud noises?
And we have fighter jets that fly in the Lake District a lot, and they are very noisy. They train around the mountains, and Lola does not like them. So she tends to crouch. But we find if we pick her up and put her in a backpack, her backpack just completely calms her. It's her safe space. So she doesn't, even though it's noisy still, the fact that she's in a backpack and she's with us, she knows one of us has got her on her back, she's absolutely fine. So with her, it's knowing she has a safe space and she's with the people that she feels safe with. Or don't need to put anything over her ears as such. Once she's in a backpack, she's absolutely fine with it. So it's trying to find that safe space that they find safe. And then we only figured that out because when they flew over and she was like, oh, and then she got in a backpack and she was like, absolutely fine. And they do loops. So it didn't bother her when she was in the backpack.
It's great.
Just to kind of add on to Freya, also just Bean and Tofu like to be in their backpack too with the louder noises. They're also like super food motivated, so kind of giving them treats to distract them from the noise is also good for them, that I find. And it's kind of just like positive association too.
Especially if your cat's food motivated, that's a good way to get them used to loud noises. Anyone else?
Similar to Freya.
Yep.
My cat name is Freya too. So
I know it's confusing.
yeah. Freya, when she feels little like scared, because we also have airplanes like coming around because airport is not too far away. So if she feels the jet noise, then she'll just jump back in to the carrier, and then suddenly she'll be like, okay, just like Freya said. So like as long as you make the backpack is your little sweet home for your cat when they're outside of their big home, I think that would make it more like comfortable for them, at least when they're outside.
Okay, great. So there was another question in the chat. Any tips on teaching indoor cats to go potty outside on adventures? I guess someone had a travel litter box in the car, but one of the cats had an accident on trail. So, any tips for getting your cat to go potty outside?
She just goes outside. We carry poop bags like you would a dog. But because we are often in the countryside, we just let her go. We kind of know when she wants to go, but we've never stopped her. If she wants to go, we'll let her go because we'll just pick up the poo and then we'll carry it. So we do what dog owners do, essentially. We don't stop her. If she needs to go, she goes. If we're traveling long distances or we're going away somewhere, we'll always take her litter tray with us. And we have like a porter litter tray for the car. So if she's in long car distances, or we'll have stops because we've got some really good like rest stops that have like dog walking, well, not cats because they don't expect cats, but there's space where they can have a little walk, and if she wants to go to the toilet, she can do. But yeah, poo bags. Make sure they're always on you because you'll need to pick cat poo up just like you would a dog, so you're not harming the environment.
Yeah, I remember when the first time my cat Summit went poop, he normally only peed when we were out. And then the first time he pooped, I did not have a bag with me. And I was like, oh my gosh. So now I always make sure to have a poop bag with me because now every time we go on a trail, he always goes poop. I don't know why. It's like his thing of marking his territory or something. Okay, so another question is, do cats need shoes? Do you need to protect their feet on trail?
Um, so Freya actually uses shoes, not only for I mean, she actually doesn't use it for the trails, but for winter time, it might be better for her to wear it because of the salt. And some places do throw salt a lot, not only the urban area, but some trails, I don't know, they might do it. So in that case, the shoe can protect their paws and not getting salt right into their body. So for that case, we use it. But for example, now summer is coming up, and if the trail is going to be hot, I wouldn't even try to make my cat walk on a bare feet. So I mean, you can use shoes for that case, but also if your cat doesn't enjoy wearing shoes or not even bother to, walk on the hot surface, then just don't do it. Like maybe it's good to stay somewhere cool, like under the shade. So, I mean, it is your choice for that. Yeah,
Hi,
sorry.
everyone. No, it's okay. It's okay. So we do have to wrap this one up and move on to our next session. If we can give a round of applause to our speakers from this session. Thank you guys so much. Thank you especially to Caitlin for moderating, coming back as always. If you have more questions that are adventure and training specific, I highly recommend go to the session with the dog trainers in Breakout 2. So I've chatted a number of times here the links to the different options for our next sessions. So stay here if you want to get tips about cat health and wellness from vets. Go to Zoom Room 1 if you're interested in learning about how to use social media to create a community of cat people and grow your cat's account on social media. If you want more cat training tips, go to Session Room 2, what professional dog trainers learn from training their cats. All right, so we have 3 very different topics coming up now. So now is the time to pick a new room. Again, check the links that are in the chat. It's in the chat now. And again, if you have more questions about training your cat and taking your cat out, definitely go to the dog trainer session because they are going to share what they've learned about also training their cats. Stay here for cat wellness. And go to Zoom Room 1 if you're interested in learning or getting social media tips. All right, so we are going to work on bringing up our speakers here. Let's see. Got Cole. All right. Just getting set up here. All right, there's Cole, there's Manson.
Yeah, we just need them to turn on their videos.
To turn on their what?
Their videos so that we can spotlight them.
Okay, I see Cole. Cole and Manson both are here with their videos on, and Laria. Okay, yeah, so everybody's here. So, yeah, just how do we make them spotlit? So here we go. Cole. All right. At spotlight. All right, I'm here with the vets. All right, great. All right, awesome. All right, so just one more time. Again, stay here if you want health tips from vets, and then Zoom room breakout 1, cat parent to creator, building a community on social media. And then Zoom room 2 is what professional dog trainers learn from training their cats. So wide variety of options now. Our final session before we'll all come back into the main room. All right, so welcome to my vet group. So we're excited to be here. So, you know, we are focused on cat backpack and harness training and doing more with our cats. But of course, the reason we want to do more with our cats is because we want them to be happy and healthy and live to be 35 years old. So we always like to have a session that features actual vets to share just some general health and wellness tips, but also some tips related to health and wellness when you are going to be taking your cat out. So quick just introduction from each of you in terms of where you're located, what kind of veterinary work do you do, and also, you know, if you have experience taking your cats out. And I'm going to start with Dr. Manson because this is like your millionth time speaking at a travel cat event. So thank you and welcome back.
Thank you for having me again. I'm Dr. Manson Yao, and I'm a veterinarian in Vancouver, Canada. I'm also the author and illustrator of a book on cat carriers.
Oh.
Yeah, so this is my cat Boo in the book with me in the travel cat transporter carrier. You can see in the background of my video as well. Yeah, so I could talk about cat carriers for hours and hours.
Great. All right. And what about Cole, if you want to go next?
Hey, you guys, you can hear me okay? Good. I'm Dr. Cole. So I just started my second year of general practice of seeing only cats, which is exciting. I work in the Chicago area, and yeah, I work at basically a clinic that just basic general practice needs. And then for my experience with cat travel, I went to veterinary school in the Caribbean at Ross, and I adopted 4 cats on island. So I got to experience bringing my 4 cats internationally from the Caribbean and St. Kitts here to the US. We've done cross-country road trips together. And then when my partner and I moved in together, we also cross-country. So now we have 8 cats together, also from the island.
Nice. So you were almost competitive with the who has the most cats until we had the person that had 35 rescues.
I know.
All right. Go ahead, Laria.
Okay, I am Dr. Maria Harrod. I practice in small animal GP, general practice in Arizona, in the greater Phoenix area, but specifically I work in Plain Creek, which I am at work right now. So I just closed the door, and they know not to bother me while we're doing this. But I work with predominantly cats and dogs. You'll see one of my cats walking around. My Sphinx, he's more friendly. My Siamese is back here too, but she doesn't want to talk to anybody. But yes, that's me in a nutshell.
Very good. All right. So just to kick things off, Dr. Manson, starting with you. What are some common signs that a cat might be unwell or sick or in pain that cat parents might overlook?
Drinking more and peeing more. So this is going to sound very odd, but I recommend counting a number of clumps. If you use clumping cat litter, I recommend counting a number of clumps per day, because over time, if your cat usually has two clumps of pee a day, and then eventually it's 4, 5, 6, there's something going on. It could be diabetes, kidney disease. There's clues in the litter box.
Right. Great. Okay. And Dr. Laria, what are some situations where we would say people go to the vet unnecessarily? versus on the flip side, situations where, they wait too long? Do you find there's any like common sort of situations where it's like too soon, too long?
Yeah, I do feel that we see a lot of cats that come in and they've had like one episode of something, whether that's like one episode of vomiting or like one episode of like diarrhea, which for most of us vets, diarrhea is anything other than the normal poop. If it's not fully formed, it's diarrhea. Um, and I don't say that to say that you shouldn't bring your pet in when something goes wrong, but a lot of times if it's a one-off and if you can go through like the history of the last 24 hours and isolate something that probably explains it, whether you tried a new treat, whether they were chewing on a plant and they shouldn't have been, whether they got into one of the other pets' foods. A lot of times, one instance of something may resolve on its own before you come in. On the flip side, I do see a lot that come in and the cat's been vomiting 2 to 3 times a week forever. And I would say that would be a situation where they should have been seen sooner. Because if we're routinely vomiting, that's not normal. Same thing with some chronic diarrhea, which hilariously enough, one of my cats is a chronic diarrhea boy. Um, and a lot of times, like, well, this is what they always do. They seem fine. Otherwise, their energy is fine. Otherwise, they seem to be doing well. And two things can be true. They probably are doing okay overall, but if there's an underlying condition that we could be treating to make them more comfortable and not have vomiting 2 to 3 times a week and not have diarrhea all the time, we want to be doing that.
And how would you describe vomiting versus hairballs? Because I'm going to assume that like that's something where people get like hung up on. They're like, oh, I thought it was just a hairball. Like what would you describe as the difference? Because especially I feel like in pop culture, like the hairball thing just like it comes across in like media as like, oh, cats have hairballs, and that's just a gross thing that cats do.
You know what? Honestly, I don't see a ton of issues with hairballs. But I do feel that if the consistency of the vomit is anything other than food, and they haven't immediately just done something, I would be concerned, and I would, and it's happened more than one time, 1 to 2 times, 3 times maybe. I would be more concerned about that and say that it needs to be seen. Cats definitely can have hairballs, and hairballs sometimes has a little bit more of a abdominal effort when they're trying to cough it up. And then when they do cough it up, you see predominantly hair, but sometimes it can look like food in a little ball too. So if it's really compact with like hair packed on it, that would give me more of a concern of hairballs. But honestly, I really wouldn't want a cat throwing up hairballs either because throwing up in general just isn't fun. So at that point, I would maybe recommend looking into a different diet that's maybe more geared towards preventing hairballs, or adding more water into the diet, whether that's adding like a wet food or a supplement, to help everything go down more smoothly so they're not getting to a point where they're hacking up a hairball.
Great, great. And Dr. Mansom, just because, you did write the book on cat carriers, a book on cat carriers. So, what would be some of your biggest tips for cat parents who want to take their cats out in a backpack, in a carrier on a leash, for getting them used to it, making sure that it becomes a positive experience?
My biggest tip is to leave the carrier out all the time because if you put it away, it's like hiding the carrier, and then when you take it out, they're unfamiliar with it. So fear is usually just lack of familiarity. If they're not used to it, they're more likely to be scared of it. So I would leave it out all the time, let them sleep in it. If the carrier doesn't look sorry, it doesn't look bad. Like the travel cat carriers look nice. I mean, if you're willing to leave out a cardboard box, a cat carrier is, much better than that. So leave it out all the time. Let them sleep in it, play in it. You can even give them treats in it, so they get used to it.
Great. And Dr. Cole, what would you say in terms of vaccines, preventatives, like that sort of thing? I mean, you did, like you mentioned, some epic traveling with your cats. What are your tips for just making sure people are asking their vet the right question to, make sure that their cats are comfortable, whether that's, a road trip or a flight, or they just want to start taking their cat outside, on walks around their house?
Yeah, I think I mean, in general, like short answer, they should be up to date on all their core vaccines. So for cats, rabies, and then the combo like PCR, FERCP, whatever your vet calls it. And then really what, even though it's not considered core, leukemia is typically recommended for cats that are going outside. Always ask your vet on like what their take is on that, on if your cat is in like an at-risk group, etc. Preventatives are important, but I really like there was a slide earlier in one of the sessions. I think it was the intro one about like regional risks. That's a really big one. So like when I was in a tropical region, mosquitoes was a huge thing. Tick-borne diseases was a huge thing. And and if you have a dog or a cat, you should be very aware of what kind of ectoparasites like to live in the regions that you're in, like Midwest versus southern states. And I think another thing too that like just kind of prompted an idea in my head when I was looking at that slide is also it's like not a super preventative measure, but if your cat has history of allergies or suspected allergies, there are allergy panels that are, I think it's through IDEX, that it is regional. So you can have your cat tested for pollens and different plants that are in that region. And that could be something too if you're going to do a big move. Like let's say your cat's already on immunotherapy or they have allergies. Be prepared that they may have different symptoms when you move because they're going to be exposed to different environmental things, just based off of what plants live there, etc. And I just think in general, letting your cat set the pace for you. Don't put them into like a big situation, like scary situation so early. Like, obviously you can't really prepare them for a flight per se, but you can sort of do all of the things that are within your power to simulate that experience, car rides around the neighborhood, making sure you have everything in your bag for them, like being extra prepared. I had a client or a caregiver that was recently came to see me. They're traveling to Croatia with their cat. So that's a huge move. And so they came, and she's a little geriatric woman. And so they were bringing this cat in all the time just to make sure she's well up to date on things. And then additionally, they went over their itinerary with me, which I thought that was really nice. To just be like this because she's diabetic. So they're like, this is when we're going to give her snacks. This is when she's going to get her insulin. This is when we're going to do potty breaks. Like, I thought that was really nice that we went over it together. So even if you just talk with like your cat enthusiast friends, your friends with experience, your vet, I think like going over those things can be really helpful for you to feel like you have some control in a situation that can be very stressful.
No, that's great. And just on the topic of like vaccines and things like rabies, for instance, I wanted to share one of our previous vet panels brought up a really good point that even if you're not planning on bringing your cat out, something like a rabies vaccine you should do no matter what, because bats can get into your house. And what a perfect thing for your cat to want to play with than like a rabies ridden bat that's like flopping around like a toy. Like, and he was just mentioning that like he's had people who have indoor cats like get rabies from things like a bat or getting into the house, and then the cat's playing with it. So it's something good to think about. So somebody asked, are there any, just going back to flea and tick as well, and anyone can answer, one person can answer this one, are there any natural remedies for flea and ticks that you guys know of, or is it really like you got to get one of the not natural, medical ones?
I would say there's not any that I'm aware of, but if you are able to find a holistic vet, I would imagine they probably have something. But I think the resources for us as a veterinary community are limited on that type of information because it's just not the standard. And they tend to, not to say push the ones that have the chemicals in it, but we know that those work. A lot of those products have to go through rigorous testing and trials before they're put on the market. There's usually a comprehensive list of possible side effects for those types of medications. So the ones that are on the market, those are the ones that the majority of us are going to recommend either way because they've been tested, tried, and true. But the short answer is I don't know of any.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, like, I love when people ask these questions for sure because I like being transparent, but like we always are going, same thing with food. Like when we're talking about the big brand name foods, it's not necessarily because we're like pushing those foods specifically. When it comes to prescription diets, it's just that this is what we have the most scientific data to support. And like your vet is always going to want to give you their safest like and highest recommendation on what's going to be most efficacious and safest for your cat. So yeah, I think, but I will say I have a cat who she has reactions to a lot of the brand name topical preventatives, and unfortunately there are not as many options for cats as there are dogs. So if you have a cat that's very sensitive to medications and you've had like documented um things in the past that have shown that it just like this product did not agree with them. One, that you should have your vet report that to the manufacturer so that they know. And then two, yeah, I would probably consult with someone like a holistic vet, somebody that has like experience with those kind of things. Just be careful. I don't worry as much about like fleas, but I do worry about heartworm and mosquitoes. Like that's like a fear of mine.
Okay. And could each one of you share a tip, whether it be like a medication option that you've given to, to one of your clients or that sort of thing, just for uh, de people who have cats that have a lot of anxiety, or they just know it's going to be stressful and tricky to go, for necessary travel, whether that be a vet or a vet visit or, a car ride or a plane. What are some more like medical options that you advise people to consider? Laurie, I'll start with you.
Yeah, so I usually my main go-to is gonna be gabapentin. And I know that a lot of people that aren't fans of gabapentin. I know I was responding to some questions about like anxiety meds and sedation meds for kitty cats when they're like anxious in other settings in the home. Gabapentin is the main option that most of us are gonna use because it is a very safe medication. There's not a lot of negative side effects you're gonna see with it other than them being a little sleepy. So that's usually our first go-to. Otherwise, there are other medications we can add in, like trazodone. They can be added into their protocol to make them sleepy. There are doses of melatonin that could potentially be done. I personally don't reach for melatonin a lot because there aren't a lot of veterinary specific products that I can guarantee are not going to cause issues. So I don't use that one a ton. But otherwise, there's pheromones that you can use to spray around the home or even in the carrier, in the car ahead of time before you go to wherever you're going. And a lot of vet offices do implement that. I'm looking at a bottle of Feel Away in this exam room right now because that's something that if I know I'm seeing a cat, we're going to spray it in the room to try to set the scene and make it a positive experience for them. As far as like true anxiety separately from like coming in for an appointment, there are some medications that they can be on for that. To be completely transparent, I'm not a huge advocate of starting anxious kitties on anxiety meds. I typically recommend that clients see a behaviorist, like a veterinary behaviorist who has done the additional schooling and specialized into that, because their insight is going to be a lot more valuable than mine. Purely because I don't spend a lot of time doing anxiety medications in cats, tweaking that regimen, knowing where to go next to try to make sure that it's the best protocol for them, but they're better at that. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But if one of our other doctors here have any other tidbits, I'd love for you to chime in.
Let's see. Yeah, I totally agree in terms of the medications. The only thing I would add to that is, yeah, we use a lot of gabapentin, pregabalin. If you are having difficulties with dosing your cat, please communicate that to your veterinary team, and they should work with you guys to help because medicating cats can be very, very difficult. It can be very frustrating and stressful. And I think what's really difficult for me as a practitioner is when I feel like when I'm recommending something and it is just disturbing the trust and relationship you have with your cat, that's the opposite of what I'm trying to accomplish. So if your medication protocol is making it so your cat is hiding from you or is not wanting to take snacks from you and doesn't trust you, like then protocol needs to be reevaluated. So, talking to your veterinary teams, a lot of the times the technicians have really good insight on how to medicate. Hopefully, your vet will give you some good insight. And sometimes it's a matter of just going through the different formulations on, do we try liquid? Do we do tablets? Do we do capsules? Do we get it compounded into a treat? Can it be transdermal? Like there's so many different options. So I think like I have a lot of people will try one form of gabapentin, it goes terrible, and then they don't want to try it again. And I totally understand, but in some circumstances, I think that, it's just about finding that right routine for you guys. Same thing with our own medications. You may not always jive with the first thing that's prescribed, and it just takes a little bit of trial and error to really get there.
I will, agree. As a person who is required to give my one cat gabapentin before a doctor's visit because she will just freak the F out. Like other, like, and it's,
Yeah.
she's not,
Yeah, it
it's
happens.
just at the vet. Like it's not,
Right.
we've taken her on the road trips, taken her in the car and places. She's great with people. She's great with my toddler, but they can't do anything with her if she's not
Oh
drugged
yeah.
at
Yeah,
the
they
vet.
know.
And
They know where they're at.
yeah, but it took us a while, like my husband and I, to figure out like the best method for medicating her. Like, and so it's like I'm the one who stands over her from behind with
Mhm.
the liquid. Like,
Yep.
we tried the powder in the food and whatnot. Yeah, so really agree with that of like not. It can be. It was very frustrating to figure it out.
Oh
We
yeah.
canceled vet visits because we
Yeah.
couldn't get it to her in time.
Yep.
That sort of thing. So yeah, it's I really appreciate that tip personally as well. So let's see. So I wanted to talk a little bit about emergency preparedness. So a lot of people are buying our products because they live in an area where they might need to evacuate, like a hurricane prone area, a fire prone area. We've had people in our community who have survived fires in their buildings, both them and their cat, because their cat was backpack trained and they were able to get them into the backpack quickly to get out of the building and have their hands free. Dr. Manson, maybe starting with you, because again, you have a focus on carriers, but I'd love to just hear tips from a couple of you about what people should have prepared if they want to be in say like have a go bag, or just the benefits of training your cats to do certain things or getting them comfortable with certain things, especially if they're in a disaster prone environment or location.
Yeah, I would learn your cat's favorite hiding spot. So every time the fire alarm goes off in my building, I know straight away I have to go and block a certain place in my well, I call it my cat's teenage bedroom. So I know for sure they'll go hide in this one specific corner that's very, very hard to reach. So the minute the fire alarm goes off, I close the door to that room so that I know that I can get him into his carrier more easily. I also have a leash hanging by the door, so it's readily accessible. So instead of having a leash in different places, it's always there. And that way, if there's an emergency, I'm not panicking, running around the apartment like, oh, where's my leash? Where's my cat carrier? Like try to put them somewhere readily accessible, um, where you won't trip over them and where your cat can easily get to them.
That's great. I actually, just a note on that. I actually bought, when I moved into our new place, we bought our bed frame specifically based on our cats not being able to go under it or behind it, because our old where we used to live, we had like a normal bed frame, and that's where the cats would go. Luckily we never had an emergency, but like when we were trying to go for trips and that sort of thing, if they got under there, it was just like game over. So, I mean, bed frames are expensive, and it's actually hard to find bed frames that don't have any like opening underneath. I will say I had to look for a long time, but yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good
That's a
point.
good tip. I got mine from Pottery Barn, the Pottery Barn for kids, because it has drawers instead of instead of just empty space under the bed, it
Right.
has drawers. So yeah, that's where I recommend looking for a bed frame.
Yeah. Cole, what about you? Do you have any tips for people who want to be, prepared in an emergency situation?
Yeah, no, I had actually written down that same tip that Dr. Manson said about knowing your cat's hiding spots. That's so quintessential, like to knowing your cat's behaviors. And also that's part of detecting illness, is knowing like where they go to hide and things that are normal versus abnormal for them. We had last year, all our cats are fine, but there was a fire in our apartment building and we were able to get the cats out. It wasn't anything severe, but we were not prepared and it was so stressful. And thankfully, our cats are, I don't know what to call them, but they're fairly adaptable in the sense that they don't tend to like freak out. So, but we had to basically stuff a bunch. Like, remember I said I have 8 cats. We did not have the appropriate amount of carriers at the time. We had been putting that off because it's one of those things where like you don't need it until you do. But yeah, we were like shoving cats into carriers. It was crazy. And I remember thinking like we got so lucky. Like imagine if somebody had gotten away or if there was a big fight in the carriers. But I remember after that, I was like, we always, if we're gonna have this many cats, we need to always have, even if it's like some carriers are nicer than others, we need to always make sure we have the appropriate amount to get them all out because like that was crazy and I had not ever experienced something like that until that time. So making sure you have the appropriate amount of space. And on that note, just because I ran into this recently with one of my caregivers, but the cats, they will react differently in stressful situations, even if they don't know what's going on. When you put them in a carrier suddenly, or even if you give them time to acclimate, they may not interact with each other the way that they normally do. So I have a lot of people where their cats love each other, they mutual groom, they sleep with each other, they have like nicknames for each other, whatever. But when they get in the carrier, it's like on site. Like they don't know each other because they're stressed. It's like, that's not my friend. I don't know who that is. And so plan accordingly that you should, even if your cats prefer to be in a carrier together, you have tested this is what you found, that's great. But I would always make sure you have a plan B if they decide that they are too overstimulated, they don't want to be touching another cat, they want their own space at the vet, or they're traveling, what have you. I would just make sure you have something available because sometimes they do not want to be in the same carrier. And I find that it's same with me. It was surprising to me when I saw my cats get into a fight in the carrier. I was like, you're siblings, but it's stressful. So that's how that they're going to react. So keep that in mind and just make sure you're, plan accordingly.
Great.
Yeah.
And Laria, we found you because you use our products. We've been seeing your cat go back and forth with their 90s harness on. So, we obviously love seeing vets who are, using our products for enrichment as well, not just those necessary vet visits or that sort of thing. So I'm just curious, what was your personal motivation, as a vet with all the things that for, doing more with your cats and taking your cats out?
Yeah, so I will say I'm a bit of a stage 5 clinger when it comes to my animals, just in general. So I typically want them to go and do whatever I'm doing as long as I can do that safely. But I did learn pretty quickly with my Siamese that she does not like people. She's very sweet, but she'd rather be in the house. So I
Yeah.
had tried, like we took her on a couple of trips. She hated being in the plane. She was definitely one of those that was trying to escape all the time. It was a nightmare. So she doesn't go out much. She doesn't mind this as much because she's like in a room. She's in her wagon, which is her happy pace. Like she's vibing. Um, but then when we added Pharrell to our crew, as you probably have noticed, he's a bit of a crackhead. And he is very like high energy and very sociable. And we found out kind of by accident that he's a little bit of a celebrity when you take him out in public because he's a Sphinx. People don't see a lot of Sphinxes. So everybody wants to kind of like touch him and he wants to interact with them. So I think I had originally gotten like a different cat carrier that was like UV specific because he's naked, but he would just scream. Every time you put him in there, all he did was scream. And I had attended this summit last year, but I think I had already seen the products prior to that. And I was like, let me tune in and see, let me fill it out. And I love the summit so much that I did like 2 big purchases. I got the stroller, I got the navigator, which mine is sitting over here. Like I committed after the summit. And it's literally been so much better. Like Pharrell loves that if we're like walking around, whether that's walking my dogs, hiking, going to pet friendly stores. He likes that he can either get on my shoulder on the back of the backpack. People can actually pet him if they want to pet him. It gives them a little bit more freedom. And then for Ruby, I prefer to keep her in the bassinet of the stroller because she doesn't mind going, but she doesn't want to interact with people. So I do find that it makes me feel better to be able to get them both out. And it makes it safer for us all too, because he'll have his harness on and he can kind of hang out and move more, and she can still be out and participate, but in her more reserved, kind of quiet way. Um, but I enjoy doing, like, oh, we're going to brunch, and the chaos of going to brunch with my two dogs, my two kids, my husband, my two cats. Like, watching me get out of the car is something that should be studied, because it is rough. Like, it is so chaotic. But once you get past that part, it's so much fun. And I love the joy that other people get from interacting with my animals. Like, it just makes me feel more validated about that human animal bond. Like, they make me so happy and they make other people so happy. And that's all I really want, you know?
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. So it's exactly 3:30. So can we give a round of applause for our vet panel? And again, I mentioned this already, but all of our speakers, they're listed on the summit page where you signed up, and they're all here because they love sharing their tips, their advice. So we really encourage you to follow them, to connect with them, interact with them, send them a DM, tag them if you're on social media, because they're just all very wonderful people who, again, clearly love sharing their tips. So we're going to come back into the main room. Everybody's going to come back in, and we're going to bring up my slides. We're going to give away a bunch more prizes, and we have our last activity. So everybody in the audience, you are able to come on video. So I would highly recommend for this next session, which is our DIY enrichment session, come on video, like, make the craft with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we'd love to see what you're making and doing. We're going to give away some prizes first, but to give you a minute, again, our next session is going to be a DIY cat enrichment activity. So really all you need, and you can follow along if you don't have this now, but you just need a box, some string, some tape, and then if you have like little toys lying around, or you have bottle caps, like something to basically attach to the string. So that's what we're going to be doing next. But in the meantime, we're going to do a few more prizes as people come back. So we have 3 more grand prizes to give out. This is the second one. So this is another person who is going to win a $250 Travel Cat gift card and a $250 donation in their name to a forever home hero of their choice. And that can be, again, an organization or a person who does TNR, fostering, any sort of rescuing. So our next winner is, drumroll please, Victoria Blaze. Victoria Blaze, you are our second grand prize winner. I am screenshotting your name so we have it here. Congratulations on the gift card and the donation. You can start thinking about what organization you want to give that to. And then we have another prize pack from one of our partners, from Earth Bath. So Earth Bath, really, really convenient for when you're going out with your cat, especially if you want to do more of the outdoor hiking adventures. They have these wipes. They also have shampoo. So this next winner is going to win a little prize pack from Earth Bath. So give me a second to pick the next person. Just letting people in. All right, so next Earth Bath winner, we have Sarah Kuistra. Sarah Kuistra, and pardon me if I have not pronounced names correctly, but you are our Earth Bath winner. Congratulations. And stay to the very, very end, because again, we're going to have more prizes at the very, very end. Oh, let's go back to the Vina slide. Okay, so we're going to bring up Vina, who's going to lead us in our craft here. Oh, there she is. Oh my gosh, what? Look at this setup. It was so great. All right, let me unmute this here. And we found Vina also on Instagram. She has enjoyed bringing, Vina, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay, great. I can hear you. Perfect. Okay, so we met Vina because we found her on Instagram. It seemed like a very epic family trip where you brought your cat and the navigator. Is that correct?
We did. We have an RV. So we went RVing with our two kids. I have a 5 and 15-year-old boys. And then it's a very small like camper van. And then our dog. And then Milo, our cat, because I hate leaving my cat. Like I grew up with a cat, loved a cat, but then I am a newly minted cat lady. Like, and it comes very natural, apparently. As soon as you adopt a cat, it just came second nature. So I do not like leaving Milo anywhere. I feel like he's my emotional support cat. And so yeah, and the travel cat is like the backpack is epic. It is so comfortable and it was so easy to go hiking for a long time and he got a lot of airflow and he hasn't learned how to like sit on top yet, but we're working on it. So it's really great because it gives him the chance to like wander around inside. It gives him a chance to like smell and do all the things, but be really safe. So I love it.
That's amazing. All right. Well, wonderful. So we're so excited to be with you. So I'm going to let you kick it off. We have the supplies list up here. And just to let everybody know, we will eventually have recordings of all of these sessions. It does take us a while to get them all out, but just hang tight and stay on our email list. That is the best way to make sure you get an email as soon as the sessions are recorded. And everyone can see Vina, right? Everyone can see Vina's video. We're all good. If I could get some like
unpin the slide and spotlight Vina. She's very small right now.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's there we go. There we go. Now she should be bigger. Thank you. All right, perfect. Okay. Now she should be bigger, right? We're good? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So go ahead, Vina. Take it away. Tell us what to do.
Okay, so this is Milo. We adopted him about a year ago, so he's my baby cat, and he just kind of loves cardboard boxes, which I think like every cat in the universe loves a cardboard box, and so I love making him enrichment toys out of what we have at home. I'm a DIY crafter, so I do have a lot of like rainbowy kind of ribbons and stuff. But if you don't, this is a really fun one. So this is just like your Amazon box or any box that you have. I cut off the sides and then I am using ribbon, but if you have like, gift wrap curling ribbon, you can use anything, string, twine, rope. Any of those things are really, really fun. And as you can, I don't know what Milo's doing here, but I am using bottle caps and I just drilled a small hole, but you can poke a hole in it. You can stick your ribbon right through it. And then I just poked holes with scissors in through the top of my box, as you can kind of see, and then you just tie it through. So I think the point, and Emily said this earlier, is that you can do something like this with any supplies that you have at home. Maybe old cat toys that they're not into, old balls that you can like string things through. So this is a really great one for that repurpose reuse, because I feel like so many, at least my cat, he likes something new all the time. And so this is just such a great way to like upcycle and repurpose what you already have. And it's kind of fun and cute. And apparently he just likes to lounge in it. So let's see. Does everyone have like a little bottle cap? So what we're going to do is you're going to put a hole through the bottle cap. And then right here, I just made a knot with my ribbon. And then you're just going to go ahead and you're going to just pull it through, or you can just tape it right here. And it's really fun, as you can see. So anything can become a toy. Anything is fun for a cat and anything is enrichment. And I love something that's also aesthetically pleasing. So if you like, also want something like this, you can have fun with the different colors. I love a rainbow theme. And Milo just enjoys lounging in here. I just made this earlier today and I'll put up the tutorial, the full tutorial on my Instagram later. So if you guys want to do it, you can totally make it. But I think that cat toys should not be expensive. And I just love how easy it is to make a really fun cat toy that they'll enjoy. And when they're done, you can recycle all the different parts and pieces and then make something else. So I love that.
So I just wanted to say, so when I was prepping for this, I was like, let me get all of my broken cat toys that are like from wands, like when the wand break off. So yeah, that's like what I got ready on strings to add, because a lot of times I like Frankenstein old broken toys onto like broken wand, I like mismatch. But yeah, I love that idea if like you don't want to go through your recycling bin, if you just happen to have like here's like a broken spring toy connected to a worm toy.
Yeah, and if you have feathers, you can do that. And this is also a really great one to do with your kids. If you have kids, it's a really fun one for them to get creative. Ping pong balls are also a big hit in our household, and actually faux flowers. So if you have any of those things, like you can attach anything onto a string. I love a hot glue situation, but you can tape hot glue and then again tape and hot glue on top and just get creative with it. And like, cats can groom themselves while they're doing this. They can relax, they can play. And the good news is you can't ruin it. And so it's just a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I with the box that I picked, I tucked in the sides so that it was like a little bit stronger, because then my cat was like jumping on top, like sitting on top of the box and like batting the inside. They love these crinkle balls. My one cat's just actually playing with the crinkle ball outside my door right now. And I loved that the string concept too, because you can, instead of taping it, you can make it so you can kind of pull it like up and down too, so they can go after it that way. Or if you do tape, yeah, yours do it. So like, yeah, moving it up and down. She's too busy taking a bath right now.
I know. I'm like, what's going on? I guess Sunday baths are a thing for him, so I'm not sure. But yeah, I like how easy this is. And like, again, like I love something that's budget friendly, but then like provides so much entertainment and fun. And it also recycles all the different parts and pieces that normally I'd be like, oh, I probably should get rid of it because it doesn't work on the wand. And Milo is a cat much like yours that I think runs around the house with the wand in his mouth with the toy. So eventually it just gets separated and then it's not as much fun. So I love a good way of like upcycling, repurposing things.
Nice. Well, awesome. Well, and Carrot, yeah, and we'd love to see your creations online, everyone. And just a reminder, we have 2 other ways to win prizes after the event. So we're going to pick somebody who uses the hashtag TravelCatSummit on Instagram or TikTok. If you post using the hashtag and tag us by tomorrow at midnight, we're going to pick somebody to win a $50 Travel Cat gift card, but we'd love to see your boxes. So tag us and Vina in your boxes. And again, everybody who spoke here today, their handles are all on the page where you signed up, and they're also in the program link that you've been using, and we'll continue to share that program link as a follow-up. But yeah, we always do a little activity like this at the end of our summits, and we love seeing what people actually make, what they come up with, and that's a fun way to get your post up so you can be entered to win one of our final prizes. So can we give Vina a round of applause, please? This is so fun, such a good idea. We love the easy enrichment. We know you're all here because you want to do more with your cats, and sometimes you don't want to go outside or you can't go outside, so you got to figure out, how do I keep this cat entertained inside? So yeah, we love it. Thank you so much, Vina, for your time, and I'm excited to see everyone's little creations. And you can go also to Vina's Instagram page to see the full tutorial, get some more tips on how to make the best recycled box toy ever. So great. So let me bring up my slides here. We're going to give away some final prizes, some reminders of your perks for attending. And also, I always like to pick a few people at the end of the summit to share their like one line, quick favorite tip that you got from the event. So if you're feeling brave and you want to share one final tip on, that you learned, you can raise your hand, use the raise your hand feature, and I'm going to call on a few people. We just ask that you keep it short so that we can pull up a few people to do that towards the end of the event. Okay, so with that, I have another prize winner. So this is a third person who will win the $250 Travel Cat gift card plus a $250 donation in your name to a forever home hero of your choice. And that next winner is Cynthia Browse. Cynthia Browse, congratulations. And again, everybody who's been chosen as a winner, we've been taking your name and we have your email because you signed up. So we will reach out to you with how to claim your prize. So congratulations to that winner. All right. And hold on, my next slide. Yes, so we did it. So, oh, let me just make sure Yes. Okay. So first of all, everybody give a round of applause to yourselves for hanging out with us for a few hours on a Sunday. It was so awesome to hear from you all, see your pictures. If you didn't share a picture of your cat yet, or like a link to your Instagram or that sort of thing, please do. We would love to see it. We saw so many cute guys. So I just want to remind you that we have this sweet tote bag that is exclusive to people who signed up for this event. Like, you guys got access to this, and it's not just a tote bag, but it's a bunch of free goodies and treats and toys and discounts from our wonderful partners. So if you want one of these, make sure to act fast. You can get it for free with any $39 purchase. And the special link to this is in the program page, and we'll send a follow-up as well. And also, as a reminder, we always give that perk of unveiling new products, and also a special discount to people who attend. So again, these are a bunch of our new products. Our walking bag, I'm personally most excited about, our Explorer bag, our Roam With Me bag, and then also our other new products that we launched this year, like our loafer bed, our Monstera cat tent, our stroller. We have not discounted the stroller this much ever. So if you're interested in getting the stroller, it's usually excluded from sales. I highly, highly recommend pouncing on it with this discount, which is 10% off, Summit 26. And again, we'll email all this out as well, so you guys have the link in your email. A lot of people were asking about the recording. We did record everything. We will make them available. It does take us quite some time to do it. So thank you in advance for your patience. But the best way to make sure you get the recordings is that you stay on our email and our text list, because you'll be the first ones to know once we have them. Also, if we could give a digital round of applause to our partners for hooking us up with freebies and prizes and deals. These are all really incredible companies that many of them we've worked with a long time, especially Tractive, which we have our special Tractive Pathfinder harness that actually fits the Tractive tracking device, which is great if you're wanting to do more outdoor adventures. That GPS tracker, it's not just a GPS tracker, it's also a health tracker. And they have a new one coming out in June, which is really exciting. Yao has been with us again since the very beginning. We love them. We love their kickers. Really great for getting your cat to have positive associations with new products like beds or backpacks or harnesses. And Churu also has been a partner with us on the summit since the very beginning. And then our other partners, Salty Cat, incredible treats, really fun swag also. They have all different types of treats, tubes, freeze-dried. We have Earth Bath, great for grooming wipes, cleaning off your cat. Playology is a really great brand. You might know them from their dog toys, but they're starting to do a lot more cat toys. So every tote bag has 2 Playology cat toys in it. And then Icelandic, they were one of our partners last year as well. And they're giving out, they're including some really cool treats, really unique stuff like whole fish. We talked a lot about with our different sessions about figuring out like what your cat is most motivated by. So, one of those things is figuring out like which treats do they like the best and respond to the most. So thank you again to our partners. And just, quick reminder in summary, as we wrap up, and we are taking in all these tips about doing more with your cat, a few things to emphasize. One, cats are not dogs. Right? That's why we love them. But it's just really important as you're going on this journey to do more, to not have the same expectations for cats that you might, with a dog when it comes to going outside and doing more. And not all cats are the same, right? We've heard from so many diverse people, and they're very diverse cats. Cats are all individuals too. So, what you learned or a tip might work for you, it might not work for you. It's really important to know your cat, understand your cat, pay attention, and be present with your cat when you're trying new things with them. And also, patience is so key. I'm sure you heard it from different people in different ways, but exploring with a cat is very different than exploring with other animals and trying to get them to do new things. This is a long-term game. It takes patience and repetition and routine. So you just have to, be prepared for that. So with that, I want to unmute a few people to share their favorite tips. So I'm going to call on Callie from Figgy the Void first. I could see I see your kitty there hanging out. Okay, so and again, just a quick reminder, just keep it brief so we have enough time to wrap up on time and still share a few different people. So, what was one of your favorite tips, Callie?
My favorite tip was we attended the Traveling with Your Cat breakout room, and it was really great to hear tips about going to the airport and calling ahead with the airline, things that might affect the carrier. Got lots of tips about the Navigator backpack, which we have, so I'm happy to hear that that can go with us on a flight. So yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you. I recognize your Instagram username, so thanks for being here.
Yeah,
All right.
of course. Thank you.
Francis, I'm going to pull you up next. All right. Let's see. Francis tuning in from Hawaii, I see, or some
Oh no,
island.
well,
I know.
just my background.
I know.
I'm in the desert. There's no. No. The thing that stuck out for me is the guy who lives with the van and his cat with his cat and travels with his cat.
Benji. Yep.
He mentioned that how he saw the fear of his cat turn into curiosity, and I'm gonna be looking for that because we had a cat move in and become our cat, and he was 10 years old, and he can do tricks, and we're working slowly with the backpack now after a couple of years. So I'm very excited to get him going. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. That's awesome. Great. All right. I'm going to bring up Janice next. Her cat is in the middle of a delicious snack, I see. Your cat looks
It's not
very,
it's
very
not a
large.
churro for a child.
Okay, nice, nice. How much
Don't
does
look
your
at
cat
it.
weigh?
Don't look at it.
That's okay.
No, I first of all thank you to everyone, to all the hosts, to give insight in their experiences. We're tuning in from New Zealand, by the way, a really small country at the end of the world. It's currently 8 o'clock in the morning. And we really loved the insights about the social media side of it. Because it is so easy to get lost and, lose those little moments because you think everything has to be content once you start growing and you just think, oh yeah, I need to film this right now because, it could be something I need to put on social media. And it's so easy to just lose track of everything and get really overwhelmed sometimes. And I think that was really good to know that even bigger creators can take a break sometimes, which is really good. And we're going to do that soon because we feel a bit overwhelmed sometimes as well.
That's great. Well, and actually, fun fact. Well, first of all, yes, thank you to Janice and all the people who tuned in at not fantastic times. We always pick this time for the summit because we try to catch at least like in all of Europe. I know like there's no time zone that works for everybody conveniently everywhere, but we appreciate the people who either got up really early or stayed up really late. Also, fun fact, we actually Travel Cat just in the past 6 months or so has distribution in New Zealand. So Travel Cat has select products that are now carried in Animates, which is one of the larger pet stores around New Zealand. So that's one of the things we're working on as a small company. We want to be as accessible as possible no matter where you live. So we do have a store locator on the bottom of our site. So if you're ever wondering if any of our products are carried near you, we are in 1,500 different pet retailers across the world, and we're always looking to expand that. So check the store locator, and also if your local pet store doesn't carry Travel Cat, you can let them know that they should, and they can reach out to our site and learn more. All right, let me bring up Susan as our last person to share her tip. What's up, Susan? Former speaker alumni as well. Oh, here you go. Hold on.
Okay, I think
there
I
you
got
go.
it. Right.
Yep, you're good.
Yeah. One sentence about the first one is that marker training was new to me, and I'm excited about that. And then in the social media, the thing that struck me the most was posting what you want to see, posting what you like, and not being worried about the fact that you don't know who's going to like this. Don't worry about who's going to like it, but worry about what you want, because if you like it, other people are going to like it too. So that was huge. That was very helpful.
I love that tip. That's great. Awesome. Thank you so much, Susan. All right. Well, we're going to bring up my slides again, just a couple more things, including, of course, the reason I'm sure many of you are still hanging out because we have a final grand prize to give out. All right, so we have one more grand prize winner to pick. Hold on, let me bring up the slide. Next slide, next slide. Okay, so we have that one final prize to give out. Let's see, maybe my team member can just, there we go. Okay, so same thing. $250 travel cat gift card and a $250 donation to a cat forever home hero of your choice in your neighborhood. And let me just click my button. All right, we have Caroline Creever. Caroline Creever. I think that's you. All right, congrats. Let me screenshot your name so we have you in there. All right, so congrats to all of our winners. And as mentioned, there are a couple other ways to win prizes. Let me just go back to that. Okay, so if you tag us, if you use hashtag TravelCatSummit and tag us on Instagram or TikTok with the hashtag, and you tag us, and that could be a picture of you if you took a selfie from the event or a screenshot or a favorite tip or your cat, you'll be entered to win a $50 gift card to TravelCat. And then also we do always send out a survey. We so appreciate if you could take the time to fill out that survey. We only send it to people who actually attended. It really helps us with creating future programs like this. As I mentioned in the beginning, our whole mission is to not just provide products, but to provide resources and programs to help people do more with their cats. So a big part of that is, hosting these community style of events, and we're always looking for feedback on how we can make them better. And there's also just some questions there about also, of course, how we can do more, just thoughts on products and things like that. So, and it's also just an open forum for you to share feedback or any sort of thoughts or ideas. And we read through every single one of them. So we really appreciate that. So look for your email. You'll get the survey before the end of the day today. And again, we hope to see your posts and your tags and that sort of thing. And then for next slide, just in terms of how to stay connected. So definitely follow us on Instagram. We're Your Cat Backpack on Instagram. On TikTok, we're Travel Cat Shop. And also stay on our email and SMS list. That's going to be the best way to stay updated with promos and programs, and like I mentioned, when we have our recordings ready as well. And I also wanted to plug our PAW affiliate program because we just launched that recently. So if you're someone who's interested in being an affiliate, we just relaunched that program, and you can go to this link, which is also on the bottom of our site. If you'd like to apply for that, you can get perks for and earn commission for sharing our products. And we always prioritize PAW affiliates who actually have bought our products and are already using them, because we know that you genuinely, like what we do and like what we've made. So check that out as well. And we are very accessible. So you get emails from us. If you ever have questions or thoughts or ideas, just reply to any email that you've received from TravelCat, and it goes to our team and we see it. And again, Instagram is a really great way to stay in touch. That's really how we have recruited all these amazing speakers. And can we give one more round of applause to our speakers as well? Huge thanks. Next slide is my thank you slide. Huge thanks to everybody for sharing their time, and thank you to you all for spending a few hours with us. It's always so much fun to connect with other people who care as much about their cats as we do. So please, we hope you found some other people to connect with, whether it be speakers or people in your group. We really loved having you all here, and we look forward to the next one. So with that, I'm going to give you 2 minutes back of your time. Thank you again so much, and we hope to see you on the internet at other events, to see you on our site. Oh, and also just want to shout out, so I did get an update from my team at the tote bag. We have less than half of these left. So if you're interested, act quickly, because we're more than half sold out, and once they're gone, they're gone. But we always will. We're always working on fun new swag and giveaways. But the bag filled with the freebies is halfway sold out. But I will say we did order a lot of these bags because we thought they were really cute. So we'll be giving them out probably with like future promos as well. But if you want one with all the free stuff in it, definitely act as soon as possible. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. And for my team, if you want to leave the chat open but shut down everyone's video, we can do that to just leave people's chat open. If you want to share your Instagram, again, the program page has all of our speaker Instagrams. It has all of our partner deals. It has the summit link. It has your 10% off special link and all that good stuff. So yeah, we'll leave up the chat here so you have a couple more minutes to connect and share pictures of your cats. And we thank you again. Thank you for supporting our small business, and we hope to see you all soon. So thank you so much, everyone.